2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This wedding ring, which you do not see on my finger right now. Every time I play basketball, I would take the ring off and put it on the side of the court.
Nope.
One day, I'm walking away from basketball, and then I look down at my hand. I'm like, the ring's not there. Still to this day, never found it.
Wow.
I just decided with my wife's blessing not to wear a ring. One of the reasons guys wear rings is to let everyone know that they're off the market.
Yeah.
No need with me. I give off zero vibe that I'm on the market. My wife's like, go to a bar. Do whatever you want. I don't care if you're wearing a ring.
Go to a speed dating thing. I don't care.
Yeah. She's like, strip joint, doesn't matter. She's like, I'd rather you not rip somebody's face off in basketball just to prove your loyalty.
She's the real MVP of that league.
Here are Maggie and Perloff.
Well, what up to all of our CBS Sports Radio affiliates, to the YouTubers in the chat, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio. That's the place to come and watch us. You can listen to us, of course, as we said, across the country, SiriusXM, the free Odyssey app. You're going to want to be listening later in the show because our friend sent me a gift, and I have no idea what it is, and I'm going to open it up on the air, live. We're all going to find out together what it is.
Wow.
But we've got to start off with what today means for the NFL, Perloff.
I mean, listen, it's a holiday like no other. Nobody celebrates Franchise Tag Day
like you.
Like the Maggie and Perloff show. No, you're in here too. Franchise. We started the day off with a kick in our step because finally teams can put franchise tags on people.
I know. It's what an amazing day. I mean, the franchise tag, basically the worst thing that ever happened to the NFL from the players' standpoint.
The other disappointing thing is just because today they can, they never do. They'll do it at the very end of the franchise tag period. But
no, if a team franchise tags you on the first day, that means they hate you, actually. Yeah. They do not want to get any kind of deal done with you. They're sending a message that they think this is all you're worth is 1 year.
But then again, as a fan, I see the numbers on the franchise tag, and The guy gets $30 million for a year.
Seems great.
Seems pretty good until you look at the baseball contracts. Anyway, I know where you're going with this.
Until it seems great. Oh, I'm Lamar Jackson. I can get franchised and I can make $46 million next year. But Lamar Jackson is looking for $230 million. He's looking for that fully guaranteed, we think. We think he's looking for a Deshaun Watson type deal, and now the two sides square off again. There's other guys who the franchise tag applies to. We'll talk about Daniel Jones, and we'll talk about Geno Smith and Josh Jacobs and all that stuff. But right now it's about Lamar because he's the biggest prize as well. And if I'm the Baltimore Ravens, you're just crazy if you're going to play games here with Lamar Jackson. You already screwed this up. Okay, Lamar Jackson could have been in line for a contract extension after year 3. Now here we are after year 5, and we still we're not any closer, Perloff, to a long-term contract. If I'm the Ravens, I do not want to know what life is like without Lamar Jackson. I already know a little bit from the games he's missed because of injury, and finally, the team said, hey, maybe we need a new offensive coordinator so that Lamar doesn't have to carry the ball more times in the history than anyone else in the history of the NFL. Maybe we can actually get him wide receivers that can help him out. And maybe he doesn't have to take the hits and expose himself to the danger that he does now. This took until year 5 to figure this out for the Ravens.
Oh, okay. So let me get this straight. You're going to pay Lamar Jackson and tell him to stop running? Is that what's happening now?
I want him to run, but not as much. He doesn't have to be, setting records. Well, now Justin Fields is setting records, but he doesn't have to be running that much. If he had capable wide receivers, I mean, Mark Andrews is his tight end, and he's a Pro Bowl tight end.
Wait, where are these if you're paying Lamar Jackson, where are these magical wide receivers coming from?
Listen, the Bills are somehow able to pay Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. The Eagles will pay Jalen Hurts and will still have A.J. Brown. There are ways that you can pay guys.
Well, look at Green Bay couldn't pay Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. Kansas City could not pay
Devontae Adams wanted to leave.
Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. There is a thinking out there.
But they play Kelsey.
You can't pair a highly paid quarterback and a highly paid wide receiver. It's hard now. You're right. The Eagles will probably do it, but it's not going to. It's going to hurt.
Well, you're going to have to rob Peter to pay Paul other places, no doubt. But it's the benefit of having a franchise quarterback. At some point, you're going to have to pay him, but look at what Lamar has already done to a subpar offense over all these years. This has not been like this gangbusters offense where he's, Brock Purdy and he's got all these playmakers and all he has to do is do a naked bootleg and he's going to find, Deebo Samuel. That's not what this is. This is first-round draft picks that they've whiffed on, guys who they don't have enough depth around him at wide receiver. How many years in a row have we been saying Ravens need wide receivers?
There is no way their wide receiver room doesn't get worse if they sign him to a huge deal. It's going to get worse. It's not going to get better.
It's bad now.
Let's pay him all this money and then get him a star wide receiver. That's a fantasy land idea.
Other teams have made it work. Now,
no, they really haven't. Who's made it work?
I'm telling you, Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs are both making massive money.
And let's talk about the rest of the roster there. Well, don't you think that they're a little cash strapped at certain spots?
They are, but they're also a 13-win team. So, I mean, you can't say, they haven't won a Super Bowl yet.
They have not paid Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. That's another one that hasn't happened yet, so we can't say that. It's hard. Wide receivers get more expensive every year. It's going to be hard. You're not going to improve. Okay, if you're the Ravens, we need to get Lamar Jackson weapons, so let's give him more money than any player's ever gotten. That makes no sense.
Well, it doesn't make sense to say, let's wave bye-bye to him, and let's wave goodbye, because you have an elite quarterback in the building. And you don't want to see what life is like on the other side here. I mean, draft picks are awesome when they're theoretical draft picks. Once you take them, who are you taking? You're going to take Anthony Richardson? You're going to put him in here? What are you expecting to happen here?
No.
Insert quarterback. Who do you want?
I stay out of this class altogether. This is what I would do.
So you want Snoop Huntley? You want to go back in with Pro Bowler Snoop Huntley to go in?
Well, I think he's a free agent too. But
yeah, okay. But you could. I'm thinking you could probably bring him back if you wanted to.
At some point, Maggie, the Baltimore Ravens are going to have to rebuild. They can't stay 10 wins forever. At some point, they're going to have to rip the Band-Aid off and say, hey, we're not building a Super Bowl team here. What are we doing wrong? Because since the Joe Flacco Super Bowl, how many playoff games have they won? 1 and 2, maybe? They're not really a threat the way they're constituted. And I'm not blaming Lamar for that. The offense around him is not good. But it's not going to get good by giving all that money to Lamar. You're going to have to say goodbye to people, not hello to more people.
Okay, but this is what happens when you have a quarterback who's worth it, because you don't have these other playmakers. So maybe you're talking about, what do you want more? Do you want a quarterback who might be expensive but has already elevated guys who aren't very good, and you've seen the results?
You just said he hasn't elevated them.
No, he has elevated an offense. That's nothing. They're nothing without Lamar. Duvernay and Bateman? I mean, it's not exactly the who's who here.
Okay. Let's be honest, though. Part of the reason is because Lamar Jackson is part of the offense is the reason these receivers are not thriving. Well, it could be more the coach, but
finally they changed offensive coordinators this offseason. Yeah, but let's see what that's like.
They didn't really get the next Sean McVay and Todd Monken. He's been around and failed a couple times at other places.
But it's not Greg Roman, who's all about running quarterbacks.
Yeah, I admit the offense was stunted, but Hollywood Brown wanted to leave. He's like, get me out of here. So we don't really know how good these receivers are.
Yeah, and he wanted to go play with Kyler Murray. So let's think about his decision making.
No, I've listened. And I watched him play, and it was like, he's okay.
Yeah.
But it's hard to say that they failed on wide receiver because their offense does not help wide receivers. Honestly, I don't know where they go with this team. Is going to be in limbo. If they sign Lamar Jackson for all that money, and they just signed Roquan Smith, the defense will be good, but their hands will be tied. Look at the recent Super Bowl teams. Do any of them resemble this? A super expensive quarterback with nothing around them? No, they're all quarterbacks on rookie deals. That's how you get to the Super Bowl.
Well, not Patrick Mahomes.
But okay, Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady are the two exceptions, right? What did they do? They took less money. Patrick Mahomes signed a 10-year, $450 million. You think Lamar is going to take less money to help? Actually, Patrick Mahomes was very specific. He wanted to help re-sign Kelsey. He wanted to help re-sign Chris Jones. I don't see Lamar Jackson doing any of that. It seems like, based on the reporting, which is we don't know everything, Lamar Jackson has no interest in helping the Ravens here. He wants as much as he can get.
Well, I mean, you're just talking about a guy who wants what the market dictates.
Well, Mahomes didn't want that.
Well, but Mahomes also, it was a $500 million deal.
So I'm sure the Ravens would do that.
He was labeled as the first $500 million quarterback. And Mahomes still makes a lot of money. I mean, there is a reason why they did have to say goodbye to Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, that's true. But do a deal like that with Lamar Jackson. It's a long-term, expensive.
And think about the other things, the other things too about Kansas City and what Mahomes helps you do, because he's the best quarterback in the league.
Right.
They do not have any expensive corners, right?
Right.
Their defense, I mean, comes together when you need it, but nobody's really writing home. There's not, songs being written about the Kansas City Chiefs defense in the regular season.
Right. So you're saying Lamar doesn't do all those things?
No, I'm just saying that the team decided that they still want to have an elite defense. Like that's in the Ravens' MO. The Chiefs, not so much. They want a couple good pieces on defense. You need Chris Jones and you need playoff Frank Clark. And then they had 3 rookies playing in the secondary and they won a Super Bowl. So it's like the Ravens' ethos is different. They always want to have a great defense. They're going to keep investing in that great defense. And that's something where the Kansas City Chiefs are like, no. So we can pay Mahomes, we can pay Kelsey all this money,
right? And
they're able to make it work. The Ravens just operationally don't do that.
So they paid Mahomes $141 million guaranteed. I think that the Ravens would do that with Lamar Jackson, but I don't think Lamar Jackson would take that.
No, he already turned down $33 million.
So I think he wants. We have to assume that he wants the Deshaun Watson deal, $230 million guaranteed. Do you really think the Ravens, if they give that money to Lamar Jackson, are going to be built like other Super Bowl teams recently? It just feels like it's going to be hard. I mean, I think a lot of teams with young quarterbacks like the Eagles with Jalen Hurts this year are in a much better position to build a Super Bowl team.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, it makes it a little easier, but at the same time, they could have gotten something done with him after year 3, decided not to do it, and now here we are.
Some costs.
Yeah, but nobody anticipated that Deshaun Watson was going to get $230 million guaranteed. It didn't reset the market because guys have signed since then and didn't ask for fully guaranteed contracts. Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, but they're also not 26 years old and have the future in front of them that Lamar could have.
By the way, if he had signed after his 3rd year, he'd be a free agent next year probably anyway. So you'd be in the same boat.
No, because he would have been the same class as Josh Allen. And so they're the same class. Josh Allen just re-signed after his 3rd year, and his deal starts kicking in this year.
Right, but it would have been 3 years.
The big money.
It would have been 3 years, so they would have had to make a decision on Lamar after this season.
Well, what you could do is you just give him a lot of money up front as like the signing bonus type stuff, and then it doesn't count against the average annual. Like there's a way, if you want to play ball that's not just a fully guaranteed contract, like Deshaun Watson's, you can kind of move the money around a little bit more, which is why listen, they're going to have a cap hit this year if they franchise tag him of $46 million.
But do you think they seriously regret not doing a deal after 3 years there? Probably.
Yeah, definitely.
But he's been hurt the last 2 seasons, and they probably would have had to pay huge money by now. He would have eaten up their salary cap at this point, or by next year.
It sounds like you're making a case to never pay a quarterback.
Yeah, well, I'm of the camp, unless you can get a guy like Mahomes who will work with the team. Yeah, I love that. I'm in love with that 5-year window where the quarterback is not paid a lot. But look at the Super Bowls. There's been one Super Bowl.
Well, Matthew Stafford made a lot.
Okay, Matthew Stafford, but who is he going against?
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow, rookie deal. Go year to year. Mahomes was on his rookie deal and made 2 Super Bowls. Mm-hmm. Everybody's on their rookie deal. There's so many rookie deals making Super Bowls. This year, Jalen Hurts. That trend has to say something, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, but you also it's rare to be in a position where you can keep drafting quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
And you can find guys listen, I think the Eagles kind of got pretty lucky here, or lucky and kind of understood the value of Jalen Hurts where other people didn't, where they were paying a quarterback and then found Hurts in the second round.
If you were going to your owner, the Ravens,
yeah,
and the owner said, "How are you going to get me to the Super Bowl?" That's all I care about.
Yes.
Super Bowl or bust.
Yeah. I'm saying I want to start with Lamar.
And the owner says, but doesn't Lamar want $230 million guaranteed?
I would say I think this is something we need to do. Because tell me, are the contracts for quarterbacks going up or are they going down?
They're going up.
They're going up. So at some point, if I have an elite quarterback, I'm going to have to pay them. Lamar is elite. Let's get this. We want to do this the easy way or do we want to do it the hard way? And I would say let's do this the easy way. Let's pay our quarterback because this is do we think Joe Burrow is going to want a fully guaranteed contract? He might. Justin Herbert, they might.
Yeah.
We have no idea. These guys are all coming up now. I would say let's get this thing done, and then let's figure out how we're going to build this around him. And changing our offensive coordinator, I think, was a really good start. Now, obviously, you need another wide receiver. No kidding.
I don't know. I'm definitely not psyched about that. If the Ravens end up paying all that money,
do you think they should trade him?
I would, if you could really get this monster haul, and Lamar is really miserable and doesn't want to work with the team, which kind of people are speculating on, then yeah, I would trade him. I would trade him to Atlanta for four first-round picks. It's never been a trade like that, but say that trade was out on the table.
You don't want to trade him to the Jets because it's in the AFC?
I just think Atlanta would offer a lot more. I think a team that has no identity would be
anyone who's in on Deshaun.
Yeah, it would be. Right. I think Atlanta is the perfect fit for Deshaun Watson. And also, the other thing too is Atlanta has a chance of being bad because say Deshaun gets hurt, they could really be bad one year, and you could get a good draft pick out of
You think they have the more bust potential than the Jets? It's Samter, you should take offense.
Well, the Jets had this defense. Atlanta has nothing.
Yeah, we have talent somewhere.
In the chat right now, and if you want to watch us, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio is the place to do it. So our buddy Nick in Texas is asking, do you think negotiations would be smoother if his mom wasn't his agent, or does she have a background in something like this? It's unconventional to have your mom and you kind of figuring this out as you go along. But he also, let's not forget, he also has the NFL Players Association, who he's leaning on here, who are telling him, you're 26 years old, you should ask for a fully guaranteed contract. And they're telling him, you're going to get $100 million guaranteed off of 2 franchise tags.
How do you know they're telling him all that?
It was reported that the NFLPA, according to Chris Mortensen, is giving him advice. You are totally within your right to ask for a fully guaranteed contract.
Yeah, if he gets, I'm just telling you, if he gets that 230 or maybe now up to 250 he'll want, that spells problems for the Ravens. They're going to be cap strapped forever. Yep. And the thing about the Ravens, even with Lamar, are they really a Super Bowl threat?
Well, this one from Michael Gaylor, who's in the chat, Mike in California, who calls us. Can you blame Lamar? The Ravens have shown that they're not going to give him tools. So if they're not going to go for a ring, he has to go for the cash.
They've tried. They've drafted 2 wide receivers in the first round in the last 4 years. What else are they supposed to do?
Hasn't worked out very well for them.
And you can't say that it's definitely the players. It's the whole offense has not helped those wide receivers.
Yeah, one year they got very unlucky with all the running backs going down, basically in preseason. But again, everybody deals with injuries. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Pretty polarizing topic here about whether or not to pay Lamar Jackson the fully guaranteed contract. Maybe looking for Deshaun Watson type money, $230 million guaranteed. Would you pay him? Would you trade him? Samter's hoping that he gets traded. Yeah. Samter's like, who do the Jets pick from? Is it our future Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers? Is it maybe Lamar Jackson?
Everything for Jackson.
Would we settle for Carr?
Nope.
Yeah. All of a sudden, the Jets are only shopping in the fancy section.
I got
of
to
the
tell you,
supermarket.
I would laugh so hard if Lamar went to the Jets. Lamar and Nathaniel Hackett kicking in New Jersey.
Kicking 64-yarders at MetLife Stadium.
I just think that spells trouble. I just don't know if that coaching staff and Lamar Jackson is a marriage made in heaven.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Okay, we got the chat up and running. Everyone is locked and loaded, ready to go here. They're very inviting, this chat. If you're new to the show, you want to get involved, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio. Come hang out. Also, you can listen to us across the country on all of our incredible affiliates on CBS Sports Radio. Okay, coming up, the new information about one Pro Bowl quarterback looking for a new home. What is this new intel? We'll give it to you next. Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff and your phone calls on Lamar Jackson next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Back on Maggie and Perloff.
Okay.
Maggie's explaining to us what her Instagram feed is populated with.
Yeah.
What are these videos?
It's called Get Ready With Me. No men in this studio have ever heard of this. It's like got a short GRWM. It's like, get ready with me before I go to the NBA All-Star party, or get ready with me before I go out to Saturday night, or get ready with me.
So you're getting dressed, you're putting on makeup, fixing your hair?
Basically.
Are they men, or any men do this?
You know, now that you mention it, there are no men. It's just all women. Why am I watching it? I don't know.
I remember
See cool outfits.
What's your TikTok feed? Is people cleaning their fridge?
That, just the sound of people restocking their fridge is a big one. And also, I got into an algorithm of stripper TikTok. I don't know how that happened.
Well, that I would expect out of the other side of the glass, not you.
So stripper TikTok, from what I can gather and glean, is it's just like, here's what I'm going to wear, and then just cut to all this money being thrown on the bed. It's like, and here's what I made tonight, and it's over. You're not going to actually film in a strip club. That's against the rules. So you guys know that better than I do. So it's just like, all right, so it's kind of like, here's what I'm wearing, and yada, yada, yada. I got all this money now.
Yada, yada, the best part.
Yada, yada, the best part.
Like a G-string or like some lingerie or something?
Yeah, just like weird
How did your
costumes.
feed get that?
I have no idea. I'm doing baking shows and fridges and get ready with me to go to a party, and all of a sudden I got stripper TikTok. I don't know.
I don't have any of that stuff.
Yeah, I fell into the toe jam, like toe cutting videos somehow, and like
pimple popping.
Pimple popping, like those kind of weird things.
Once you get into the pimple popping, it's really hard to get out of it. I basically had to delete the app and then start from scratch with a whole new username. It was like leaving an old life. I had to like pick up and move because I couldn't do the pimples anymore. Anyway, Lamar Jackson. Franchise tags can be applied today. Doubt that the Ravens are going to do this day one. No, you're going to wait 2 weeks, and then they'll apply the tag, and then you can still try to negotiate a long-term deal. But, I mean, these two sides have been so far apart, it's really hard to see them coming to any kind of consensus before the season. And here's the thing. Lamar doesn't have to sign the tag, by the way, which means this could play out over an entire offseason, and you don't see him until, hypothetically, when he would start missing game checks, which is in September.
Oh, that'd be super fun. I can't wait for that.
That'd be a disaster.
Yeah, and you said Jeff Darlington on ESPN reported that he would miss games. I am dubious about that. I think, first of all, Lamar Jackson is really good at football, probably wants to be out there. $42 million divided by, that's about $3 million a game. Really?
I mean, I think
Really?
it's a hard ask to ask somebody not to pay. I mean, Le'Veon Bell's the only one who I can remember who really did sit out.
Yeah. Quarterback really hasn't done it.
Yeah.
I wonder if he would worry about his teammates, too. There's a lot going on. I don't know. The money is so crazy. $45 million, $3 million per game. I would never sit that out because he hasn't made that much money. He can't really afford to skip a $45 million year, can he?
I mean, and that's what the team that's always the leverage they have, right?
Well, yeah.
You don't want to start missing game checks.
I think Lamar planned this from the get-go to take this tag, maybe play in Baltimore, and then get to the free agency market. Because next year it'd be $64 million or something crazy. The next tag costs more, so
Listen,
he's doing fine.
Kirk Cousins played this. I mean, listen, Washington was so dumb how they did this with Cousins, but that's the worst case scenario for Baltimore, though. You can't let Lamar Jackson walk out the door without getting any kind of draft compensation. You can't do 2 franchise tags, then he leaves. You got nothing in return. That's crazy. That's terrible team management. The Ravens are too smart.
Yeah, I mean, Kirk Cousins doesn't exactly win a Super Bowl or anything.
Nobody got $90 million guaranteed. Yeah.
He's good. Let's not compare him to Lamar Jackson.
No. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Let's go to the phones. 855-212-4CBS. Our pal Jay is in Alabama's got an idea for Lamar. Jay, how's it going, dude?
What's going on? I think I heard somebody talk about some toe jam video or something. What's going on?
Yeah, I was surprised at that too, Jay.
Samter's got a foot thing, apparently. He, Rex Ryan, same.
It's a good thing.
Jay, has there ever been, when you get in your social media, it starts feeding you videos that you don't want?
Oh yeah, I've seen some. There's some pretty I immediately cut those off of my feed, especially like TikTok. You got to be careful what you just sit there and pause and watch. Then all of those type of videos will keep on coming up in your feed. I don't like weird, ignorant videos like that popping up in my thing. But I know exactly what you're talking about.
I know. And here's the thing. You can watch it for 2 seconds, and all of a sudden the algorithm thinks that this is your favorite thing in the world. We got to do better. Big tech.
Better, man. It'll rot your brain. It's like watching Channel Zero.
I know.
Like, the old Public Enemy song. But ideas for Lamar, I still say, I will keep on saying, I'll still keep beating the desk over there. Like, if he goes down to Miami, it's a wrap for anybody in the AFC, and they'll definitely stop all that jabroni magic that's going on up in KC every time we get to the playoffs. It's like these inadvertent whistles and plays that just ticky-tacky stuff and all that stuff. Like, it would be – nobody would have a chance. With Lamar and those 2 receivers, offensively, nobody would have a chance. And also, I got to say, this is an important draft for the Eagles. I think it does – whatever the Eagles does in this draft, it kind of sets the future for them because, if they make just the right 2 picks, do the right things with those 2 first-round picks, I think, they're going to win a couple chips out of this, but, they really might just put a foothold in the next 5 years where they don't have to be doing these Philly specials to win a title. They'll just be that dominant, you know what I mean?
Jay, it's a great point.
That jabroni magic.
Jay, you're brilliant. I love this.
It's crazy. And, Jay, thank you so much for the call, and thanks for chiming in. Philadelphia Eagles, very rare you get a team that goes to the Super Bowl and then is sitting there and has a number 10 pick the next season.
I don't know what that 10 pick does for them right now. They have to pay Jalen Hurts. That's priority number 1.
Yep.
What are they missing? What are they missing? I guess their defense fell apart. But I think that was just because the field was so slippery. I guess they need a pass rusher. I don't know.
Well, Bradbury's a free agent.
Yeah, they got to replace a lot of older guys.
And C.J. Gardner-Johnson, right?
Well, yeah, they might tag him. And Darius Slay's 32.
Right.
And quarterback years is 1,000. By the way, the Dolphins, I love Lamar Jackson in Miami. I've been thinking about it. But I just looked at the stats. Tyreek Hill had 119 catches last year. Is that going to happen with Lamar Jackson at your quarterback? Because he does tend to hold the ball and run, and there's a reason he does that. He's amazing at it.
Yeah, he is very good. But he's also had to do that, more or less. Listen, the Ravens...
But are you going to take that away from him? Why would he throw a 5-yard screen when he could run for 17? He's still going to run the ball. I just don't... He's not going to be the high-volume passer that Miami had last year. So I think that Waddle and Hill, their catches are going to go down. Are they okay with that to compete for a Super Bowl?
I mean, you got to manage egos then.
Yeah, I think so.
And that's going to fall on the coach, and that's going to fall on everyone getting behind Lamar and kind of pulling in the same direction.
Lamar's good at the deep passes, too, which is good for Tyreek Hill. He's got a really
good arm.
But I just think the volume of catches here for Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle might go down, which is fine.
Yeah, but Tua also was the master sort of point guard.
Yeah, he was a point guard.
Yeah.
And their offense was amazing this year, by the way. It's not, when Tua was on the field, I think they were the best offense in the NFL?
Listen, they went up to Buffalo and put, 35 points on the Bills with Skylar Thompson or whatever they scored, 33. Two-Ton Tony in the chat says Samter likes feet because he's closer to his feet.
Oh, that's mean.
I mean,
if you ever saw my
lie.
feet and The Hobbit, then you would not think that would be the case.
You got Hobbit feet?
Oh, yeah.
What size feet do you have?
Well, no, it's more like Hobbit feet are more known to be hairy.
Yeah, you got hairy feet.
No, also the Hobbits have big feet, too.
Wide. Dinosaur feet.
No, I mean, my feet are definitely are not pleasing to the eye. And so anybody who thinks that my foot fetish has anything to do with my own feet does not know me.
No, we didn't think you had a fetish with your own feet. That subsect of the internet I really don't want to see.
I mean, I just swipe through TikTok and just look for videos of my own feet, which I post there myself.
Yeah.
I just made a drastic mistake, a bad one.
Don't search it.
I Googled Hobbit feet.
Don't do it.
I actually thought I'd see something from the movie Lord of the Rings, and I did not.
They have slippers of Hobbit feet, which I actually had to buy those.
Oh, you're on there too? Yeah, those are pretty cool, actually.
I am now, thanks to you.
That is a Hobbit feet meme.
Man, Dominic in the chat says, type the wrong UNL in your web browser, or it'll be there for the rest of your life. So true.
Oh, yeah. Or accidentally click the wrong correction of like what your prediction what Google's going to give you.
It's so annoying.
Yeah.
What can these big tech companies, do they have like a suggestion box or something? Can we make our voices heard on this? Like, hey, Google, like, stop guessing what I'm going to put in the search box. I know you're reading my mind. You're listening to my phone calls. I get it. Just stop guessing.
But there's always like 3 that make a lot of sense. And that 4th one, you're just like, how the hell is anybody searching that?
It's anytime you search a person, it's either the person that's like wife or divorced. It's just like, why do you keep giving me this? I don't care. I'm looking at Lamar Jackson's contract. Stop. Also, it is weird when the Google search gives you something that you are only thinking in your mind. And it's like, oh, I never said that out loud. How did you get that?
So I just Googled Maggie Gray. I got Twitter, sports, sportscaster, Adelphi, and wedding.
Adelphi?
What's Adelphi?
I don't know.
Click on it.
All right. And apparently your wedding was a big deal, too.
It was a huge deal. It was a rager.
So Maggie Gray, faculty photos, associate professor, chair political science, College of Arts and Sciences at Adelphi University.
Wow, congrats, Maggie.
The other Maggie.
Oh.
No, you guys didn't know I'm an adjunct professor, too.
Yeah, this is the other Maggie. The other Maggie Gray is like an award-winning set designer.
She and I have had battles for years, me and the other Maggie. She's British. She's a set designer. She was nominated for an Oscar. What a hack. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. But she took everything. She took all the good, email addresses. She took everything. She took the good,
Maggie Gray.
She got it all. I got Twitter back, finally.
Maggie, I didn't know that you had a PhD from SUNY Graduate Center.
Listen, I mean, I do a lot of things in my own time that you guys don't know
I thought you went
about.
to a SUNY school, not a CUNY school.
I
neither, actually, but
no, unfortunately not. But
you guys wish
there's many hours in a day.
I have a British Andrew Perloff. I know we've talked about this.
You
before.
do?
Oh yeah, and you guys wish you worked with him.
Why?
He's one of the richest men in England.
Is that right?
Andrew, yeah, he runs a hedge fund, and he's famous.
Has everyone else looked up their other persons? Stu, who's the other Stu Kovacs?
I have a Stu Kovacs that got arrested in the 90s.
That's unfortunate.
In prison for a while, yes. So
Did
when
that
you
stick
type in
with
my
you?
name, that comes up for maybe like a third of the searches.
You're not like on any lists now, are you? Inadvertently?
That would be unfortunate.
All right, this hurts. I just Googled, Perloff and Maggie and Stu. I just typed in Michael Samter, and literally nothing popped up. There is not
Hobbit
a
feet
single
now.
predictor.
Rich, who's the other Rich Ackerman?
Offensive lineman for the Chargers.
Is that right?
Back in the day, yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah, not bad. So Dan Fouts actually said, are you in relation to this guy? Because I had him on when I did Eye on College Football, and I said, no, I wish I was. He's more athletic than I am. And he goes, yeah, I know that. It's like, hey.
There you go.
There is an artist named Richard Ackerman as well.
There you go.
But he has 2 N's.
That doesn't count.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
What a loser.
I'm sorry. I've just been Googling Samter. And I just came up with this video. Fellow producer Mike Samter says Mraz's act is old on the DA show. I look at the graphic.
How dare you?
They have a graphic of you, Mike, and you can explain that you're wearing a gold medal in this graphic?
Yeah, that's when Allie Raceman came in after the Olympics, and she let me wear her gold medal. I was very impressed.
Wow.
Wow, you caught out Sean Mraz, too. Wow. I like it. It's high up on your search list.
I feel like that's kind of a rite of passage just to be a producer or to be a living human being is just to call out Sean Mraz at some point in your life.
We got to replace all our... We need this photo of Mike Samter holding a gold medal. Strange man gets gold medal. It's great.
A man wins gold medal for Hobbit feet. Does Allie Raceman know that you were posing like this with her medal?
She took the picture.
Oh, wow. All right. Just want to make sure. It looks like you're not desecrating it, but you're not desecrating it.
She did ask me not to try to bite down on the gold,
Yeah.
which I faked doing but didn't actually do.
I don't understand where that came from. 855-212-4CBS. Everyone does that now. It's like, why do you bite down on this medal?
Got to make sure it's real.
Sure. 855-212-4CBS. There you go. What?
Wow.
Lamar Jackson. No. We've got, new information about one quarterback and their future.
What, he shows up in the shower and he's got hobbit feet? Is that the new information?
And all of a sudden, every team goes running for the hills. Have you seen professional athletes' feet? It's disgusting.
Oh, yeah.
They'll
they're
be the first to
mangled.
admit it. It's awful.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing.
Yeah.
Hobbit feet that isn't even a problem compared to what you see in the average locker room.
Oof, toes are all mangled all over each other. Bunions. It's a bad scene.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry. I've spent some time in locker rooms. It's rough.
Yeah. I don't want to ask. So you're looking down in the locker room.
I'm always looking up, looking extremely up or extremely down, never in the middle. That's the rules to being in a professional locker room.
Got it.
Eyes always up to the ceiling or down to the floor.
I think that actually is co-ed. I think as a man in a locker room, same philosophy
definitely
holds.
Also, I think women professional athletes, I think their feet are equally mangled.
Oh, I'm sure.
Ugh. Not as bad as Samter. But then again, what is? 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. All right, we'll get to this update that we found very interesting on one quarterback and his future. We'll do that in just a moment after this CBS Sports Update with Rich Ackerman.
Sports Flag.
Well, tonight will be an emotional night at the Breslin Center when Michigan State hosts 17th-ranked Indiana. It's the first game in East Lansing since last week's deadly shooting on the Michigan State campus. That killed 3 students and critically wounded 5 others. Head coach Tom Izzo, who was out front last week trying to console students, said tonight's game will be played with a heavy heart.
Our first game back on campus with our fans, and make no mistake about it, this will never go away. As time heals, as they say, time heals everything, one way or another. And nor do we really want it to go away.
Villanova and Xavier will tip off tonight's action in Cincinnati in the top 25. 11th-ranked Tennessee has struggled on the road this year and has dropped the last 3 away from Knoxville. The Volunteers are in College Station tonight to take on Texas A&M. The Aggies have moved into the rankings at number 25 after 6 straight wins. The Bulls' Lonzo Ball will miss the rest of the season. He's yet to play after knee surgery last summer and is still experiencing pain. And the Nets have given head coach Jacques Vaughn a multi-year extension. I'm Rich Ackerman.
This is Zach Gelb. Hot topics, great guests, and you on the phone to talk sports. Weekdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific on CBS Sports Radio.
CBS Sports Radio.
5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie Perloff. Okay, so this is unique because while Derek Carr is going all around, well, he went to two places. He went to New Orleans and he went to the Jets and met with them in New Jersey this week. His brother is in the media. So we get a little insight of what Derek might be thinking from David Carr.
Yeah, Derek had a great trip, but there's a lot of questions that have to be asked. They have a lot of good components. There's a lot of things that are very positive about the Jets. It's honestly, it's going to be a long process, though. He really only has the Saints, the Raiders, and the Jets to kind of compare those three places. And so he wants to do his due diligence and see as many places as he can.
Okay, and that's fair. That's a smart thing to do, right? You want to get a market to develop for you. You want to take as many visits as possible, especially if the Jets might be waiting around for Aaron Rodgers or who knows. So you would think, Perloff, that maybe one of those teams would be Carolina Panthers. Why not, right? NFC South team, they definitely need a quarterback. So here was Frank Reich, who was talking at his press conference today when he was asked whether they've talked about bringing Derek Carr in for a visit.
Interesting question. You know, we're really literally sitting down with the guys today. First staff meeting will be tomorrow. But I've kind of met with guys individually saying, okay, here's what we're doing. First, step one, let's evaluate our roster. Step two, evaluate the free agents. Everybody got their list, okay? Step three, now, going to the college guys.
Okay, so that doesn't seem like there's a lot of urgency there from Carolina. It's just interesting, like, what the timeline is here for Derek Carr. He wants this, market to materialize, but the combine is next week. then we start getting into draft season. I know we have until April for the draft, but I would imagine Carr wants to be settled long before that.
But he'd have to take a discount to sign now because nobody's going to offer him the full freight right now, are they?
Why not?
Because you don't. Basically, you have to wait to see what people are paying in free agency. You're going to say, hey, Derek Carr, I'll do $28 million a year. You're not going to go full in 40 now because the only way you get into higher numbers if you're getting pushed up by other teams. And right now, you're not getting pushed up by anybody. So I think you need like a Deshaun Watson situation where everybody's driving up the market. Nobody's going to come in high on Derek Carr right now.
So do you think he's going to sign after the draft?
I think he's going to sign. If I had to guess, I think he's going to sign during free agency.
So March. That's when free agency starts.
Yes, I think he's going to sign during free agency because I think there's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks, and there's only a few quarterbacks. I think he wants a bidding war going on, and I don't think you can have a full bidding war until everybody's in.
Okay, I don't see him as being in the same category as Jimmy G. Like, Jimmy G to me is a step down from him, because of his injuries. And, Carr's a better quarterback.
Right. So when we get to free agency, there's going to be 8 teams that need a quarterback, and they're going to look at Jimmy G and Carr, and they're going to start bidding on Carr. Right now, there's not enough teams in there.
Okay, but what's going to change between, I guess, now and March, right?
There's going to be news on Aaron Rodgers. There could be news on Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
But you don't exactly know. Daniel Jones could be out there. There's a lot of things that could change.
I guess so. So if anyone thought that Derek Carr was going to be signing immediately, it looks like this is going to drag out and be our long national nightmare.
I also think that Derek Carr maybe is nervous about the Jets and maybe wants to go to the NFC. Just because.
Why?
Because
they're the Jets?
It's a hard division. It's a hard conference. I think he's going to look at that and say, wow, I can go be in the playoffs next year at an NFC South team. Don't you think that's really appealing to him?
I think it would be. I think it was appealing to Brady, even though Breeze was still in the division when Brady went down to Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it is appealing, but then you're looking at teams in the NFC South that have high draft picks. So they just might say, no thanks. If you're a young team like the Carolina Panthers, you had Frank Reich, who just came off of a stint in Indianapolis where he had 5 different starting quarterbacks. I mean, you might want to draft your guy and be like, you know what? I think we're actually going to go the developmental route here. I'm not just going to do another mercenary quarterback.
Yeah, definitely could happen. I think New Orleans definitely is in a car. I don't know if Atlanta wants to draft a guy in the first round. I mean, they've have Desmond Ridder. I'm not sure. I just think that those teams, Tampa Bay certainly is not drafting anybody.
I doubt it. It doesn't seem like that would match up with their timeline.
What is there? They're probably about 22 or something?
Around there, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Tampa Bay has any. So you're right. Carolina could draft a guy. Atlanta certainly could draft a guy.
Tampa's 19.
Yeah, I just think that there's other options. It's just how this is. Okay, I know we're supposed to be talking about Derek Carr here.
Yeah.
But how do you sell yourself as a team in the AFC when you have Joe Burrow there and you have Deshaun Watson and you have Josh Allen and you have Patrick Mahomes? If you're a quarterback
Trevor Lawrence, I mean, let's keep going.
If you're a quarterback who could get out of this mess and go to the NFC where you have Jalen Hurts.
Listen, they don't think
old
that
Matthew
way.
Stafford.
They being the athletes, they don't, because I don't think that Russell Wilson would have wanted to go to Denver if you really are saying to yourself, I don't want to mess with any of these quarterbacks in the AFC.
Well, he was in the NFC forever and probably was blind to how good the AFC was getting.
I don't think they're blind to it. You know who's good.
Well, I do think that I don't know why Russell Wilson did that, but yeah, I mean, this year though, it seems more pronounced now than ever.
There is a discrepancy for sure. The AFC is super loaded,
and the AFC East in particular feels really challenging next year.
Well, and the funny part about the AFC East is I feel like there are very few people who believe that Tua is actually going to be the starter. They keep saying it, but no one believes it, including me. Because when I went into my sensory deprivation 5 minutes, I saw the vision of Aaron Rodgers going to the Dolphins.
Yeah.
But Jay in Alabama called up, said, how about Lamar to the Dolphins?
Yeah, I mean, listen, everybody's fantasizing about getting Lamar and Aaron Rodgers, but there's about 10 teams that need quarterbacks. Somebody's going to be stuck with Baker Mayfield starting next year. Just live with that, Maggie. Every time I say his name.
I don't have to accept it.
Every time I say his name, you shake your head. Baker Mayfield will be starting for one of these teams. And by the way, pre-show Sampler goes, all right, here are my Jets rankings.
Yeah.
His
rankings,
Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers, and then Derek Carr. Mike, does that strike you as rather high end?
I mean, the Jets are going to go all out, so yeah, I'm all in.
Okay.
I mean, champagne tastes.
Cut to Ryan Tannehill, Baker Mayfield, Andy Dalton, Jimmy G.
Like Jimmy G.
Jimmy G.
Baker.
Jimmy G might not want to go there. Jimmy G is.
I'll take Mike White over any of those three guys.
Yeah, I mean, Mike White, you already have him, but the problem is one more hit, he might not have any ribs left. They're just disintegrated into powder.
I mean, Mike White. What? Okay. How many touchdowns does Mike White have in his entire career?
Well, it's the Jets, so there's very few touchdowns for anybody. That's not what they do.
We have a very low bar. So we either want Elite or Mike White.
Yeah, you're low bar, except we're holding out for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean, we can hold out hope, but if we don't get that, then, we just have to accept what we get as a Jets quarterback.
Also, no Rodgers, no McAfee today, right? Nothing. I think they're on vacation.
Mike White, and I've been hearing a lot about Mike White living in New York. He's played 8 games. He has 8 touchdowns and 12 picks in his career. And this is the guy we're building around?
Kemba Tails in the chat says, didn't Frank Reich send all those quarterbacks into retirement?
Yeah.
Technically not Wentz. Technically he's still in a roster.
Not yet.
Oh.
Not yet, yeah, soon.
By the way. Can we just pencil him into the side?
Carson Wentz?
Number 11 for your Carolina Panthers.
No.
Why not? The guy... Chip sailed. The guy's got a new starting team 3 years in a row. Why not?
No, I think that's where you can get who talks themselves into Carson Wentz?
Well,
New Orleans?
No, it's definitely going to be Carolina.
But you don't have a first-round pick if you're the Saints, so you're really desperate there. So it could be Wentz to New Orleans. I could see Tampa.
I think Carolina... So Washington's
Carolina as the 9th overall pick. They can always draft a guy.
Exactly. So Washington's going to cut Wentz. He's $26 million. Yeah. Sign him for $9 million. He's your bridge quarterback. He's perfect. He knows Frank Reich's offense.
Bridge quarterback. Don't you have to be not a locker room hassle to be a bridge quarterback?
I think he'd be. He's not that bad. No, I don't think. Yeah, Carson Wentz when he was an MVP candidate was a locker room hassle.
I don't know.
Now he's fine.
The reviews were not glowing, even in Indy. But I think that's probably the owner just hated him.
Well, I think if you're drafting number 9, the odds are you're going to have a guy who might not be ready to start week 1 this year, at least. I mean, most of them are developmental.
Yeah, I mean, we'll shoehorn anybody into week 1.
Yeah, but I mean, Will Levis and Anthony Richardson sure don't feel like week 1 starters. So then Carson Wentz is fine. It'll cost you $8 million.
I don't want my
$8 million, Maggie.
I don't want my young quarterback learning from Carson Wentz.
Carson's not that bad.
I don't know about that. Coming up, got new changes in Major League Baseball. They're coming this season, and they're awesome. We're going to talk about it with World Series champion Kevin Millar. He'll join us next. Don't move. More Maggie Perloff after this.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Try to think about a dinner night that seltzer water with bits of hot dog from our attempt at having hot dog straws.
Yeah.
If I'm a Packers fan, I'm not nervous. I'm just getting 12 hot dog straws. I'm drinking 12 beers. You're hammered on hot dog beer. Christian Watson could be Devontae Adams.
If you're hammered on hot dog beer, can that please be our show motto?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm the one hammered on hot dog beer. Someone who would never drink beer out of a hot dog because he doesn't drink beer and he doesn't eat hot dogs is Tom Brady. Would he drink, like, I don't know, protein shake through a yogurt? I'm not sure. I'm doing this off the top of my head.
Protein shake through a yogurt.
I don't know.
Here are Maggie and Perloff.
What up? Coming to you live, the Maggie and Perloff studios. Of course, we're across the country. CBS Sports Radio, our incredible affiliates. We are streaming live. YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio is where you can find us. You can look at our beautiful faces. I'm going to be opening up a gift coming up in about 20 minutes or so from one of our friends. Sent me a nice gift. I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, by the way.
Yeah, no gift for you.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I don't know. I noticed it. And you guys have been friends longer than I have, and you got no gift.
And from now on, when someone calls in and praises you and not me, I'm just going to harass that person until they give me a compliment.
I think that's a smart way to get a compliment.
Yeah.
Just deep fishing.
Force. Yeah.
Deep sea diving.
And then just cut them off if it's not going to compliment myself. That's what I'm going to do, Maggie.
Well,
but you're right. I want a present, too. If anyone's out there in the chat or anyone listening to CBS Sports Radio, Andrew Perloff needs gifts.
I found these really amazing Maggie and Perloff T-shirts just for you.
Yes. I know we've got a whole bunch of them back in the office. Which reminds us.
I bought those for Andrew.
Oh, yeah. Smart. 855-212-4CBS. Okay, let's waste no time because a lot of changes coming to Major League Baseball this season, Perloff, that I am absolutely psyched about. I wish actually they would even push the envelope more and more, but let's get into it with the World Series champion, Kevin Millar, one of our absolute favorites. He's also joining us on behalf of the Invited Celebrity Classic, which is happening April 21st to the 23rd at Las Colinas Country Club in Irving, Texas. Kevin, it's Maggie and Perloff. Thanks for the time.
What's going on? Appreciate you guys having me.
Dude, you got to tell us okay, we've had this conversation in the last hour, and we need you to weigh in on it as a former professional athlete. We're talking about athletes' feet, not athlete's foot, like tough actin', tenactin, like what John Madden was selling you, the spray. But we posit that athletes' feet are the ugliest, most gnarled looking thing possible. Who had the worst feet of anyone you played with?
I'm going to go Big Papi. Looked like he was rock climbing barefooted. And then as he got rich, I'm going to say probably he's toned him up a little bit. But a lot of it stems from, like, you know how athletes sometimes, like, you foul a ball up your foot, you know, when you're 20 years old, and then it's just like the top of the toe kind of never grows back or it's weird looking. That's what some of the guys have. Like, they're just stuff. Football, you got stuff going on. Turf toe. Baseball, you got foul balls. So there's corns and, that kind of stuff. I think that's what kind of deters away from the athlete foot or feet.
Kevin, I know athletes generally are good looking, but it's at the baseball locker room. Every time I've heard you describe it, sounds kind of ugly. The things flying around and whatnot.
Yeah.
You got 25 guys in there. There's all kinds of body shapes, and some are pears. They're shaped like an avocado or so. Some are like Gabe Kapler, were just like our dream body, because he was my locker mate, and I just kept looking at him. And he wouldn't even want to take his shirt off. I'm like, dude, if I had that body, I'm walking around with my shirt off 24/7. But we had some fun there in those clubhouses.
All of a sudden, just hear the Red Sox broadcasters and Kevin Millar has decided to bat shirtless today in a stunning move. Kevin Millar is our guest. Okay, speaking of foul balls and, take them off your feet and stuff, you once led the major leagues in hit by pitches, or you led the American League. I think in 2004, you got hit by pitches 17 times. What was the most painful one?
Yeah, I think it was Derek Jeter and I tied that year, maybe. But I know that, he got hit a lot. I got hit a lot. And, people always ask me, was it on purpose? I'm like, they say no, but I'm guaranteeing 4 or 5 of those are on purpose. I remember getting hit, Clemens, I took a hard swing, fouled one back, and then next pitch was at my head, and it went off my wrist. And, you go down, thinking you broke your hand. The ones behind the back, kind of like those lower, I like to call it the oblique area, just above the obliques to below the ribs. It's like that stain area. Those kill. A lot of the stuff now with the guards and the elbows, they don't hurt as much. But I'm going to tell you, a lot of mine I thought were because I was on the plate and I was a pull hitter. So 0-2, 1-2, when they're trying to come in hard, that's when they drill you. And, it doesn't feel good.
So, Kevin, a lot of us amateur baseball players got really afraid of the baseball as we advanced through high school.
That's when we tapped out.
Do pros, even at this level, against the guys who are throwing 100, 200, 3, is there fear, or are most batters able to adjust to that?
Scared to death. Don't let anybody tell you. Scared to death. I mean, you got a guy throwing 100-something miles an hour. We have to act like we're not. But let me tell you, when Randy Johnson was on the mound and he was throwing 101 and then trying to throw that fastball inside to a righty when he was 6'10", throwing across his body, it's scary as heck. And you're just, please don't drill me, because sometimes it almost feels like the ball went through you. I mean, you don't realize how hard a baseball is, and that's when fans are sitting out there during batting practice shagging and not paying attention. And I'm like, watch the game, watch please, because this ball is hard, and when it hits you, it hurts. But no doubt everybody at that level scare the baseball a little bit.
It's good to know athletes, they're just like us. I was scared when I got into like a 60-mile-an-hour batting cage, but that's just me. That's why I'm not playing. I'm asking the questions to Kevin Millar, who's joining us on behalf of the Invited Celebrity Classic. It's happening April 21st to the 23rd at Las Colinas Country Club in Irving, Texas. We'll ask you about that a little bit more in a second. But, Kevin, got to get to these cool baseball changes. Perloff and I were both massive baseball fans, and I love it. I love the 3 biggest changes. I like even some of the smaller ones. Let's start with the pitch clock. Just tell us from your experience, good for the game? Do you think this is going to be hard for the players to adjust to?
No, I think it's going to be good for the game. I think once we get, the clock out of your mind, that everybody should be ready to go at that time. I mean, most of the time the hitter's ready. pitchers, you're trying to create more tempo because defensively it helps you when you got a pitcher out there that's working fast instead of sitting there and taking off his glove, rubbing up every ball, walking around the mound, grabbing the rosin bag. Like everybody's just kind of like, let's go. They control the game. The pitchers have the ball. They control the tempo. The hitter now has to stay kind of in that circle area. You can't call timeout 15. So the pitcher, and most pitchers with great tempo, their defense is playing better. So I think this pitch clock will help. And once you get it out of your head that if there's a clock, because I think they can work on that now in spring training, and they obviously have been doing it in the minor leagues. So it's efficient, or they wouldn't have bring it, to Major League Baseball.
Kevin, the one I wanted to ask about was the shift. I'm a Phillies fan, and I always felt Ryan Howard was headed towards the Hall of Fame, but the shift hurt him a lot. Do you think this is going to radically change careers, the new rules on defensive positioning?
Yeah, there's no doubt. And it's funny because my good friend Brian McCann, one of the greatest hitters, left-handed catcher, many years with the Braves, and obviously world champion with the Astros. But we talked about it becomes frustrating. And when a lot of people are like, oh, well, just use the whole field or just bunt if you got all the guys over. Yeah, but you and I go in the game don't want to watch Ryan Howard bunt 4 times in a row. We go to Philly. You're waiting for him to hit a home run and hit the ball of the fence. But what the shift, it was weird to me when I was doing the Red Sox game this year, and I look up, and I'm in Boston, and this is the first time I saw it in person. Rafael Devers was hitting, and they had 4 outfielders. And it really did look like a softball league. Mm-hmm. It didn't make sense to me because we were the only sport that you don't have rules. In other words, football, you only can line up so many on the line. Basketball, you only can stand that key for 3 seconds. Baseball, I'm all about shifting because we all have, tendencies as hitters or pitchers or whatever it is. But to be able to move 4 guys in the outfield and then 3 on the right side, it just didn't look right. And I think now this will be good. It'll be good because they pitch you the way that they want you to hit the ball. So it's hard to sit there and tell left-handers just fist the ball down left field line to beat the shift when you got guys throwing 92-mile-an-hour cutters in on your hand because they're wanting you to pull a baseball. And Brian McCann said, man, he could still be playing it maybe a year or 2 more, but that shift, it's hard. He goes, then you're just trying to hit a home run. Now you're hitting 200. Well, 200 stinks, and it just kind of it's a downhill spiral. So I'm glad they're getting back to you can't go on the other side of the bag.
Kevin Millar is our guest. We'll talk about golf in just a moment, but we got to get through some more of these cool changes that are coming to Major League Baseball. The bigger bases, of course. Is this going to make a big difference, Kevin? I mean, you're a former first baseman. What are the bigger bases? Like, what are we going to notice as spectators?
It's a great question because that was the one that, when you saw them the first time, you're like, wow, they are bigger.
They're huge.
And then
it's like,
they're huge, right?
It's like those big hats that everyone started wearing, but it's a base. It's like it doesn't look right.
Is that those anti-concussion hats?
Yeah, right.
Protecting the temple. But no, it's interesting. This is one that I'm going to have to see because if I'm Ricky Henderson, you're at home, he put up a lot of stolen bases with that bag, and now you have a little bit bigger, and a guy like Trey Turner, does he steal more bags? If it helps, reduce the risk of injury, there's a lot of variables, but I think time will tell on that one. But definitely they are bigger than the original bag, and I didn't realize how much bigger because they're pretty much that much bigger. So I think, with all the study of Major League Baseball, injuries might slow down, and now it might be more of an exciting game.
Yeah, at the end of the day, are we going to have a faster, more exciting, more watchable game this season?
I think that's what they're trying to do, right? You're trying just to kind of keep that tempo. Now, baseball, I know, change. It's been around for 100 years, and people, get a little cranky, during change. But you have to adjust, right? We are in a generation now. It's more branded. They're more individual. They're given signs and kiss signs. When they get a single and driving a run, you can hit a home run now with your shirt halfway down, to your chest and pointing the dugout, walking to first. Where only Barry Bonds or guys that hit 600 home runs did that. So I think you have to adjust those times. And, if you're going to try to get it more exciting and a little faster, let's go.
Kevin Millar is our guest. The only time I'm not a booer, I don't generally boo when I go to a game. Try to keep it classy, Kevin. But the only time I do boo is when the pitcher throws over to first 1,000 times.
Yes.
Just throw home. And anyway,
Yes.
so there's rules on that, too, which is going to make the game speed up. Want to ask you about some news that came out today. Shohei Ohtani's agents, Kevin, basically saying he's going to explore free agency. If I just said gut reaction, boom, where do you think he's signing after the season? What's the first team that comes to mind?
Dodgers. Right down the road. Still a nice plane ride. to Japan. I think he stays on the West Coast. I mean, obviously, we can always anticipate anybody being with the Yankees, but I think immediately that would come to my mind. If he goes a couple hours up the road, looks like they have a money tree with the Padres, so who knows? But immediately, Dodger blue.
Is that good? Is that what baseball needs for Shohei Ohtani to showcase him? There's some people, we're in New York, that think he needs to be on the East Coast, or that would help.
Yeah, I think the East Coast stage is definitely the biggest because, think about it, Mike Trout, the greatest hitter in the game. If you're an East Coast writer, I mean, you're probably sleeping his last 2 at-bats of the season, that night on the East Coast because now it's 1:30 a.m., 8th, 9th inning. So I think that's why the East Coast stage is so big because it's that East Coast time, and Philly, New York and Boston, toughest market. So I don't know what's good. I know that free agency for players, that's why they have it. They're going to go test the market. But I know one thing. Getting the Angels in the postseason would be awesome to see Mike Trout and Shohei on that stage. I think is everything that we're trying to get to, right? We want to see the Angels and Trout get there so we can watch the greatest players on the biggest stage. And right now the Angels haven't had a chance to do that. So that's probably what's sparking Shohei's free agency. If they have a great year this year, maybe bounce. Who knows? All that stuff can end, and now they're winning.
Kevin, we're going to talk about the Invited Celebrity Classic Golf Tournament in a second. I want to correct something here. I'm looking at your stats page, and it says in your long, illustrious career, you only had 7 stolen bases. Is that correct?
That's why this pickoff rule is a big deal, Mag, because you don't want them picking over to my slow butt at first base. That's the problem with these pitchers. They don't know what they're doing out there. Why are you picking over? This guy's got 7 bags in 12 years.
Did you ever want to at least get double digits? What happened here?
I tried. I still yell at my mom and dad, why am I so slow? They're pretty good athletes, and I'm sitting here going, I didn't get it. And I have my son, Canyon, who's 16, and my sophomore. He runs like his dad. The 17-year-old runs faster. He's more of a second baseman. But I'm laughing. I'm like, son, I'm sorry. I blessed you with daddy's speed. You're going to have to hit the ball to the park.
Of all the many gifts you could have passed on, Kevin, well, can't win them all. Okay, your dream threesome here for the Celebrity Golf Classic, I think it's threesomes, right? You get a PGA Tour player, and then you get a celebrity or a athlete, either an actor or entertainer or an athlete. Do you know who you're playing with?
No, we don't know. We have a draw, that night before. It's a wonderful event. I mean, the senior tour guys are awesome because they help you. This is like our Augusta on the celebrity side. You got to put all the balls out right into the hole, which most of the time we're going, that's good. You don't realize how long a 3-foot putt is when you have to make it to save bogey. But it's super awesome. I mean, John Smoltz and these guys, Marty Fish, they hit such golf shots compared to that next drop. Tony Romo. There's like 7 guys that can win it, and then you have this next tier of probably 35 that all think that we can win it if we had a hole-in-one and 2 eagles maybe each round. But it is so fun, and they do such a great job, and I'm looking forward to it. And it's right down the road here in Dallas, so I drive 2.5 hours up the road here from outside of Austin, and I can't wait.
Who's taking the most money from you on a golf course?
Probably Smoltz. I mean, he's fair. He's fair, but he's so good. I don't have 67 in my bag. So, he has that. I'm a guy that maybe get 3 birdies around. He's a guy that can birdie 8 to 9 around. So, when he's on fire, he's definitely tough, and I think I pay him the most.
Well, listen, when you're standing over a 3-foot putt, just think Maggie and Perloff, we're watching you on Golf Channel, we're judging you, we're like, well, we knew Millar was slow. We just didn't know that he was also going to shank that.
Yeah, I have to admit, I did giggle.
Like Dustin Johnson.
Yeah, right.
I giggled a little when you said it's our Augusta. I'm not sure.
I love it. You should print T-shirts that say our Augusta. Hey, Kevin, by the way, so what's going on with Intentional Talk? Can you give us any updates? We love your show.
Oh, yeah, we got WBC, so there's going to be a lot of emphasis around that, which is awesome. And I think the first year we had WBC, everybody didn't know what it was. And now you think about how Mark DeRosa is managing his club. So a lot of that stuff will go live. So our first show is scheduled for opening day, April 3rd. We'll be back. But it's been a nice little break, and I'm excited to see Team USA what they can do.
Fantastic. Kevin, can't tell you how much we appreciate this. Good luck again. We'll be watching, judging from afar. Have fun at the golf tournament, and we'll talk to you soon.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks, Kevin.
Have fun. Just saying, hey, ooh, That 3-footer.
Yeah, I know.
Ooh, it's when the crowd goes, "Oh."
He wasn't mad when I mentioned the stolen bases, right?
No, he's well aware of his
I think there are relief pitchers who have more than seven stolen bases. Like a delayed steal, a borderline wild pitch.
The double steal.
He played for 11 years. He has 170 career home runs.
I know, but
7 stolen bases.
Listen, I wasn't that surprised. Listen, stolen bases are hard. These catchers these days, they got cannons back there.
I think that sabermetric says don't waste any outs on stolen bases. That's what Millar should have said.
Yeah, it's blame the nerds. Has nothing to do with him. Always. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. All right, coming up, friend of the show sent me a gift. I'm going to open it up live on the air. I have no idea what it is. YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio. Of course, listening to us across the country on CBS Sports Network, the free Odyssey app, Sirius XM channel 158. It's 2 boxes. What are in the boxes? We're going to find out next. Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff after this.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
You missed our interview with Kevin Millar. It was excellent. You can always download the Maggie and Perloff podcast wherever you get your podcast. Okay. This tweet from Diana Rossini from ESPN. It's been made very clear by those involved in negotiations the New York Giants are planning for Daniel Jones to be their quarterback. He is their priority. They are working on a long-term deal. Then they will figure out Saquon. The clock is ticking, though. So that's the latest. So does that mean $45 million for Daniel Jones?
Well, I don't see what's the threat of another team. Who is interested in Daniel Jones at any price?
But you talk about, some teams are going to have to settle for Baker Mayfields and, your boy Andy Dalton or whatever. Like, Daniel Jones on the open market is probably going to be, attractive.
Like, how attractive?
Well, I mean, not $45 million, I don't
Andy
think.
Dalton made $3 million last year. Baker Mayfield's going to make $5 million. I don't know. It's Carolina. Would they? I know went to Duke.
He's from there. He's from there. He's from Charlotte.
Anyway, I don't see anybody even coming close to this. I don't know why the Giants are going to have such a hard time signing Daniel Jones. I mean, they were 9-7-1 this year, and they faced the easiest schedule in the NFL, and he threw 15 touchdowns. Teams are not going to look at this and say, wow, that's my $45 million man. That's just not going to happen.
No, but there was a lot of reading into the fact that he did switch agents. And does that mean he didn't like what his original agent was telling him about how much money he might be in line for? And did another agent say, oh, I can get you more than that? So what are we talking about here?
I don't think $45 million.
I don't think $45 million either.
Maybe it's a Derek Carr situation where he makes $45 million 1 year, but they can cut him in a year or two.
Maybe. I mean, I would imagine
1 year for Carr.
I would imagine for Daniel Jones, though, like, listen, maybe you want to try to see what kind of market's out there.
There can't possibly be a market.
But all the teams that would be in on Derek Carr, in theory, would also be in on Daniel Jones, wouldn't they?
Not in a million years. Derek Carr has had big statistical seasons. Daniel Jones has done nothing.
I know, but he's also been on a team that's been wandering in the desert doing nothing for years.
But he's definitely had way better winning seasons than Daniel Jones.
No, definitely.
I think it was 13-3.
But Jones has no wide receivers. Meanwhile, you had at least Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller couldn't do jack.
Well, the year that he went 13-3 in his third year or so, I don't think he had that many receivers. I don't think maybe I'm totally wrong. I don't think Derek Carr and Daniel Jones are in the same bucket at all.
I don't think they're in the same bucket in the same way that, no, they're not equal, but Jones is younger. He's more mobile. He's definitely not as good a quarterback as Derek Carr, but if you're a team that needs a quarterback and you don't want to go the draft route, not everyone's going to get Derek Carr. So you're going to have to keep your options open,
give me some teams besides the Giants.
Well, everyone who would be in on Derek Carr
so
in
the
theory.
Saints?
No, the Jets. I know it'd be weird to be cross town, but the Jets, if they get closed out of their top three.
If the Jets end up with Daniel Jones, there'll be a riot in Jets land.
It'd be weird, but whatever.
You were talking about Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, and Derek Carr, and you get Daniel Jones. That would be very problematic. Don't you think?
Okay, but if the Jets don't land one of those top three, which is not a given, by the way.
I'd rather go Ryan Tannehill for them. Daniel Jones is still
Ryan Tannehill. He just fell off a cliff last year.
At least he's had huge seasons. Daniel Jones is just basically a running quarterback.
I know, but you're paying for what could be, not what was. Okay, whatever. Then he's
fifth-year pro.
You have You do have Carolina. You talk about a bridge quarterback.
For $40 million. Wow.
I don't think $40 million, but he's going to have suitors. I think Atlanta, I think New Orleans, I think all the places that need a quarterback would be in on Jones. And to be honest, I'd rather have him as my bridge quarterback than Carson Wentz.
Well, bridge quarterback is $8 to $10 million. So is that what we're talking about?
No,
like Trubisky was a bridge for Kenny Pickett.
No, I'm thinking. I think Daniel Jones. Listen, we might not all like it. The numbers of touchdowns and all that might not add up to this, but I bet he's getting $35 million
from the Giants.
From somebody. Most likely the Giants, but probably
$35 million for how long? Just
I don't know,
1 year?
3 years probably with
$100 million?
With an option for a fourth. Yeah.
Maybe, but $45 million, no way.
Listen, you're talking about a guy who was a number 6 overall pick. The Giants were terrible for years. They tried to do this thing where they were going to win with Eli Manning and rebuild at the same time. It was dumb. And then they couldn't hire a coach to save their life. Pat Shurmur, Joe Judge, that was terrible. And they had a terrible general manager. So now they're finally trying to get themselves out of it. So maybe this is the real Jones. I don't know.
If this is the real Jones, he played 16 games at 3,200 passing yards and 15 touchdowns.
And how many?
That's somewhere between 25 and 35 among quarterback production.
No, but and the running and what's the rushing yards?
He ran a lot, but
for another 700 yards or something.
Yeah, 700 yards. But is Daniel Jones going to stay healthy if he runs as much as he did last year?
Are any of these running quarterbacks going to stay healthy? I mean, that's the big question. Okay, should we get to my big gift?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, Sully, friend of the show, sent me a gift. Told me he was sending it to me, and now it arrived. Sully, what's up?
Maggie, as always, good to hear your voice. How are you?
It's great to hear your voice. I just saw your face 2 weeks ago.
Poor you. You know, it's funny. McLovin, you look spectacular on television, bro. You looking svelte, looking lean, looking good. There's your compliment, so you can't give me grief after that.
Oh, there you go. You don't even have to fish for it right off the top.
No. And also to be able to follow Kevin Millar, the man who started the 04 ALCS Game 4 comeback against the Yankees. I mean, thank you very much just to be able to trail Kevin Millar.
It will never get any better, Sully. All right, so I've got 2 boxes here. Thank you, by the way. I wanted to open this up on the air. So you sent me 2 boxes, by the way, too kind. So I'm going to open the big one first because that's what they're telling me in the chat. No?
Don't open the one on the bottom first. Open the one on top first.
Oh, okay. Open the one on top first. Okay. Hold on one second.
Are you watching on YouTube, Sully?
I am, but there's probably a delay.
Yeah, there's probably about a minute delay.
Yeah. YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio, by the way. We're unboxing my gift from Sully. Okay, hold on. I'm going to stand up.
Okay. So
Maggie's standing up.
The one on the bottom will make sense after you open the one.
What do we have?
Oh, here we go.
What do we have? All right, let me put the headphones back in. I got a bag inside a box. I swear, if this is Gwyneth Paltrow's head, Sully, we are not friends anymore.
What's in the box?
What's in the box? What's in the box?
All right, what do we have here?
Oh, my gosh. It's a bag, and then there's wrapping within the bag.
And now I've got tissue paper. Whoever wrapped this did a great job.
You're welcome.
Very secure. Thank you.
Oh, you did this, Sully? This is really good.
This is a good wrap job. It's a football. Oh, my gosh, Sully, you got me a Jim Kelly signed football. Are you kidding?
Jim Kelly, what else does it say on it, Maggie?
I see Jim Kelly 12. What else does it say? It says, oh, my gosh. This is an AFC. What is this? What am I looking at?
But doesn't it say HOF on it? Jim Kelly, HOF?
It says Jim Kelly 12. Does it say HOF? I don't know. It's signed in silver.
I don't see HOF.
Here's the deal. When the fabulous Schmoopy and I went to the Arts District here in Vegas a few weeks ago, in one of the stores, I saw that football.
Oh.
And I was like, this has to be a Maggie and Perloff, Strictly Maggie gift. To try to design stuff for the set, I wanted to make a little, contribution to the show. You guys, everybody involved, you, my man McLovin, the friendship that he and I have, to be able to get to know Stu and to be able to develop a beautiful relationship with Michael Samter along this journey, just because you guys have You had me at Media Week a couple weeks ago in Arizona, which I had a blast. You had me at Media Week a year ago in Los Angeles, again, had a blast. And then you had me in studio. This is something that I just want to be able to give back to you guys, to add to the show, and just to show some gratitude and how grateful I am for everybody involved in the Maggie and Perloff.
Wow, Sully, this is incredible. First of all, you didn't have to do this at all, but I am so touched. Like, this is incredible for me to get this. This is so heartwarming. Like Jim Kelly, this is my childhood. These are things that are very near and dear to me. And you think that we're doing you a solid by having you out to all of our events. Believe me, the feeling is mutual. And in fact, we feel like the lucky ones. You were with us at the draft, by the way. Don't forget that one. Okay.
Oh, I forgot the draft.
So what's in the second box then?
What's in the second box?
It better not
What's in the second box?
Here's Gwyneth Paltrow's head.
The second box isn't as fun as the next one, but the second box is to put. I don't want to tell you. But open
a
up the second box.
display case. This is awesome,
Yeah.
Sully. Too much, man. Too much. You're too
I had a lot of
kind.
help. I had a lot of help. Michael Samter was a big help in this one too. So,
by the way,
impossible. That doesn't sound
He's confusing me with the other Michael Samter that we can't find on Google.
We can't find on Google. Wait, pull that other side of the box, bro. All right. So you know what I'm going to do, too? This is so cool. I found my Jim Kelly signed picture at home.
Oh.
So we're going to have a Jim Kelly corner now in the Maggie and Perloff studio.
Oh, we're going to have to get a Jim Kelly. I mean, we have Fred Jackson over there.
Yeah,
I was, I'm glad we're upgrading from the Fred Jackson era to the Jim Kelly Super Bowl era, Sully. I actually appreciate that. Yeah.
That's what the Freddie J is for the real ones.
Yeah.
All five of you.
She wanted a Kiko Alonso poster in the studio. We need the good Bills. Thank you.
I'm waiting for Frank Reich jerseys.
Yeah.
and McLovin, maybe I'll get you an autographed basketball from my man George Niang of your Philadelphia 76ers.
You know how much I love George. I love George.
You too love Niang.
But by the way, it's not quite Jim Kelly.
Yeah, right. Maybe one day if he's
George
lucky.
Niang is he could be sixth man of the year for God's sakes. George Niang pumping tires on Maggie and Perloff show.
Sully, this case is awesome too. This is really nice. This is too much, dude. You're too kind.
Wait, Sully, you are very deeply entrenched in the hockey world, and you're going to get me a George Niang sign thing? Well, you could do better than. Well, I love George, but you could probably get me a Hall of Fame hockey guy.
Bro, I'm versatile. You're a Philadelphia 76ers fan. You're a Philadelphia fan, and you know who's to say that George Niang doesn't end up in the Hall of Fame one day? The way he's shooting the ball, I mean, I could, McLovin, I could get you tickets to some playoff hockey and get you real dialed in a couple of months if you want to travel to Boston and go watch the Boston Bruins rip it up through the Stanley Cup.
Absolutely. Now, Sully, here's the thing. You are in Vegas a lot of part of the year, at least, sometimes. Yeah. You know one of my favorite players of all time lives in Vegas.
Who?
Randall Cunningham. From Vegas.
We might have to deputize Sully.
I don't know if we're allowed to put in requests. That's probably asking a little too much. Because Maggie, of course, did not ask for this. It's so generous of you.
No, it's so generous.
But if you're going to do another number 12, maybe Randall.
No, we need to help. Sully needs to hunt down Randall Cunningham so we can get Pete's jersey signed.
I didn't know Randall Cunningham lived in Las Vegas until just now.
Yes, he does. And by the way, you could get Samter a good quarterback. I don't know, what is it, Ken O'Brien or Chad Pennington because he's a Jets fan?
Ken O'Brien's a Manhattan Beach guy.
There you go.
I mean, I know another number 12 that would be great in a Jets gang green uniform.
Listen, if you don't already, if you don't already have a Joe Namath jersey at this point, you don't need Sully to buy it for you. All right, I'm showing it right now on the YouTube stream in the case and everything. A Jim Kelly signed football. Sully,
amazing.
You're the best. You are the best.
Well, I love you guys very much. It's
so good.
A little token of my appreciation for you guys. And like I said, Maggie, when the fabulous Schmoopy and I went in that store and I saw a Jim Kelly ball, I'm like, I didn't buy it then. I went back another day, and I'm like, I want that football right there. And we went to dinner with some friends, and we asked the waiter, and who was our waiter? He was in his 20s. We're like, hey, do you know who Jim Kelly is? The guy goes, no idea. I was like, oh, man, I am old if people in their 20s don't know who Jim Kelly is.
You know what? Those poor deprived people, they're never going to know the magic that was Jim Kelly. That is Jim Kelly.
What?
By the way, let's not forget, Sully, let's not forget Stu Kovacs, though. We could get I think it's number 8. Yeah. Number 3. Raiders. He's a Raiders fan. So maybe a number 3 Raiders jersey?
Carson Palmer?
Nope. Jarrett Stidham.
Isn't he number Oh, wait, 5? No.
No, I think he's 3. He's moved around.
He's whatever's left of the Eagles jerseys.
He wants a John Kitna number 3 Raider jersey?
There
you go.
It's hard. Listen, with Samter and Stu, it's hard to find some great quarterbacks.
There's not many.
Stidham was 4 with your Patriots. That's what you were thinking of.
When you said 3, I thought Darryl LaMonica.
Oh, Matt Bomber.
There you go.
Oh, coming in from the top rope. Everything's good. I'm just so glad. I'm glad we were able to do it together and be part of this whole thing. And, I hope it didn't come with a stand. That looks terrible the way it's mounted, Maggie. It's supposed to lay flat.
Oh, wait, there might be
I'm looking
something
at it
more.
right now.
Hold on. There might be more in the box.
Oh, is it go horizontal, Sully?
Wait.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a little stand that you rest the football on. I'm only seeing it now because it's standing up. It should lay flat so it's horizontal with the little stand inside.
Nope. There's a stand. Hold on one second. I didn't see it.
Right.
It got mixed up with all the other stuff. Okay, wait.
That looks horrible that way.
I thought it looked good. Wait, hold on.
Well, it's your ball. You can mount it and
Is it like
frame it every way
this?
if you want.
Like that?
He's a minute delayed, so it's going to be hard for.
Wait, Perloff, you can help me though.
No, it looks really good.
Like this?
Well, it's either like that or you turn it on its side so it's lying horizontal.
Does it go underneath?
I can't. It
No,
can't
it
go
goes
horizontal.
flat.
It's not going to fit.
No. It goes.
Oh, ha 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 ha.
Turn the box.
I got it, everybody. You'll have to excuse me. I'm a little slow.
I was so not trying not to say anything, Maggie. Come on.
It's okay, Sully. We're friends. You can call me out when I do something dumb. Just apologize to everyone at the George Washington University for me. I didn't mean to lower the enrollment.
The creators of Tetris are turning in their grave right now.
Oh my gosh, my poor family, if anyone's watching me today, is probably like, we're disowning you. Oh, I love it. Okay. Well, I want the Jim Kelly part.
You will.
Yeah. Like this?
You won't see you'll just, I'm way behind, so.
Yeah, you're way behind. How about this, guys?
Yeah.
Is this better?
Perfect.
Tilt it up.
The way it looks like you're putting it in right now,
Yeah. That'll do, Donkey.
Sorry, guys, I'm a moron. Of course it goes sideways. Whoops. Sully, this is so cool. This is really like one of the nicest gifts I've ever received. So thank you so much. It's super meaningful. And I'm not surprised coming from you because you are a really thoughtful person. And this is really awesome. This is great.
I love you guys very much. I hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday and the rest of the week. And I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Yeah, now we got our Jim Kelly corner. Yes. Thank you, Sully. We'll talk to you soon.
Love you guys.
Okay. I came up with all these things too. Keys and nuts and bolts and stuff. We could hang it up. Perloff's like, I know. That's what a trophy case is. Okay. Well, this is awesome. This made my day. So cool. Coming up, we've got more to do, including the changes that are coming to college football that we have not gotten to yet. Will they make the sport better or worse? We got that for you in just a moment after this CBS Sports Update with Rich Ackerman.
Sports Flash.
Sully, my birthday's in June. This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Your small business keeps you on the go. Progressive Commercial Insurance keeps your policy within reach with their easy-to-use mobile app. Learn more at progressivecommercial.com. Lonzo Ball will not play again this year. The Bulls said their star guard is yet to sufficiently recover from arthroscopic knee surgery done before the season, so he will not play at all this year. Jacques Vaughn has had to navigate the Nets through a lot since taking over as coach. The Nets have the 5th best record since he took over, and now the Nets head coach getting a multi-year extension. According to police, Alabama star Brandon Miller allegedly brought the gun to former teammate Darius Miles that led to a fatal shooting. Miles was dismissed from the team and is facing capital murder charges along with another man. Miller has not been charged and has not been disciplined by head coach Nate Oates or the school. Oates said he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Several games tonight involving top 25 teams, including 9th-ranked Baylor facing number 14 Kansas State in Manhattan. I'm Rich Ackerman.
I'm JR. CBS Sports Radio has moved to SiriusXM Channel 158. Or listen on your local station. Find your local affiliate at Odyssey.com/stations.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
The Defensive Player of the Week is sponsored by the Navy Federal Credit Union, who proudly serves the Armed Forces, DoD veterans, and their families. They're members on the mission. Learn more at NavyFederal.org. Well, it definitely wasn't something from the All-Star game in the NBA.
Nope.
It was
Spoiler alert.
no defense to be played.
This is a new era. We don't have any football to base this on. Wow.
Well, unless Stu went to the XFL, in which case you are diabolical. Because I didn't watch a lot of that.
Okay, is it college basketball? I'll bet you he goes college basketball here because it's a light NBA week.
It is not college basketball.
Oh.
How about hockey?
It is hockey.
Okay.
All right.
So best of luck to both of you.
Maggie's going Dominic Hasek.
No. I would say Mike Richter. No, I'm just kidding. Who do you have?
Oh, I know. Is that big guy still playing for the Bruins? He is, isn't he? The really tall player, famous. Help me out here. Charo.
Oh, just Charo. No, it's not him.
But he's still playing, isn't he?
I don't know.
No, I think he finally retired, didn't
I
he?
feel like he might have retired.
He might not technically be retired, but I don't think he's playing.
Okay, who is it?
Stu, go ahead.
It is Winnipeg Jets goaltender Connor Hellebuck in Monday's 4-1 win over the Rangers. Hellebuck saved 50 of 51 shots, including 10 while the Rangers were on a power play.
Look at that.
How about that? Defensive Player of the Week.
How about
Connor
that?
Hellebuck.
We're going to have to start getting a lot more, doing a lot more research for this Defensive Player of the Week. I don't think Charles played for a few years now. I'm trying to look up his last season.
I just saw 2022, but
okay. Yep. Islanders and then retirement.
Fascinating. Yeah, hockey, I don't know. I think we need some ground rules here. What do you think, Maggie?
About?
I mean, it's our show. Are we allowing Stu to go hockey?
Yeah, he's going to have to.
Well, what was the other option from this week?
I know.
I was looking at college basketball.
Yeah.
How about that gigantic guy on Purdue? He's got to be good at defense. You know, the 7'2" guy?
Sure.
Jack Edey? No.
Oh, now you're just like giving Stu some recommendations for next week.
Houston Cougars are #1 team, and they have a lot of defensive guys.
Yeah. How about Perloff comes in today? He's like, I got my new college basketball team.
They're not new. I'm
a Houston Cougars fan. I'm like, they're the #1 team in the country.
Nope.
That can't be your team.
I have a long Twitter trail of being a Houston Cougars basketball fan.
Well, we were at the Final Four last year, and you were wearing a North Carolina hat.
Well, my uncle went to North Carolina, my aunt, so that's a big. Yeah, I mean, there's certain teams that I like. I'm out on Villanova this year, but the Cougs and I go way back. There's a lot of photographic evidence.
Okay, what?
You don't want to. Some of it you don't want to see.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. It started because we dressed up as cheerleaders for the Houston Cougars.
Okay.
And I was wearing an outfit that didn't really fit correctly.
Oh jeez.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Too short or too low?
It was these men's cheerleader pants. Have you guys ever worn those? They're very revealing. That's all I will say.
Oh, like what the actual.
I was wearing
what they wear now.
Yeah.
You weren't wearing women's.
No.
Woman's
I was
outfit.
wearing a men's outfit, but those men's cheerlealer pants
they're tight.
They leave nothing to the imagination.
That's what I call them performance pants.
Those guys are in great shape.
Well, it's not the shape there. It was the shape.
No, but to pull off those pants, you can't just be like sitting around eating, Philly cheesesteaks.
I just wasn't aware for how revealing the pants could be in certain areas.
Oh, well, most of them are white. Is that what you're talking about?
They're just let's just say they're form-fitting.
Let's just say that maybe
I'm tap dancing around this and I'm not getting the right thing.
Yeah,
I don't want to do this
I basically said they left nothing to the imagination. That is
the
all.
inseam may have been a little higher than it should have been.
Wait, did you see the photos?
No, but I know exactly what he's talking about. There might be a moose something involved in this.
Oh, yikes.
Wait, what?
Yowza.
Oh boy.
Oh, way to go, Samter.
Maggie caught it.
I didn't want to catch it.
Well,
you threw it at me.
But now you have the visual. He was trying to tap dance around it. We had to spoon feed.
Meanwhile, I got a cool Jim Kelly signed football behind my shoulder now, thanks to our buddy Sully. Let's go to the phones, 855-212-4CBS. Randy is in Grand Rapids. Randy, what's up, dude?
Hey, how you doing, Maggie?
Doing great.
And Mr. Perloff, I want to talk just a little about the XFL. I watched a little bit about it because I was jonesing.
Yep.
And the one thing that I thought was cool, one of the replay guys, Blandino, I think his name was.
Yep.
showed how they do it. And you know, when you're sitting there watching the NFL go, what is taking so long?
Yeah.
This guy, you could see, you know, he was looking at all the angles. And I thought that was cool. That's something that the NFL could do that, you know?
Randy, I think, and thanks so much for the call. I saw that too. I wasn't watching live. The jonesing hasn't set in yet for me. I'll get there at some point, but it was cool. It was Blandino. You see him like in the master control. He's got a million different TVs, and he's talking to the referee in his ear. And he's like, all right, this is going to be 1st and 10 at the 40. Clock starts on my whistle. And then the referee just executes the rule.
And don't they do their replay reviews? Are all the audio is open the whole time to the audience? I think that's XFL. It's either XFL or USFL. One of them. The entire replay review, the whole 2 minutes is open. They're talking about it.
A lot of small talk.
Yeah, it's the most boring thing you ever saw.
It's like Romo on the broadcast.
Exactly like that.
I don't know, Jim.
And they sound exactly like we do at home. Jeez, is there any grass between his foot? Yeah, it's actually not as exciting as you think it would be.
I never thought it was going to be exciting.
I'm sure it's really exciting when they're talking about, like, oh, how much time was left? Was there 3:42 left? Like, let's rewind the play clock on this one, too.
I know. The play clock stuff is
What hash does this ball belong on now?
It's a lot, but I do think that the NFL, to Caller's point, could definitely use some things from the XFL. Expediting the replays, no doubt, and that's what he's talking about. You know, Blandino's in there. It's like a master control, and you can get this going a lot faster.
Like a sky judge.
I really like the idea that you don't kick the extra points. You can get 1 point after you score a touchdown from 2 yards. If you go out to 5 yards, it's 2 points, and if you go out to 10 yards, it's 3 points. I think that's kind of cool. Fascinating.
I put that poll out yesterday.
How'd it go?
As I expected, fans are not as into it as you might think.
Well,
it's like 70-30 no.
Yeah, I mean,
that's not bad.
We're stuck in our ways, right? That's what
I don't know.
Or we're stuck in our cheerleader pants. Either way, it's a tough thing to get out of. All right. I mean, listen, Perloff brought it up.
What, the cheerleader pants? Yeah.
This is why you get to now claim the Cougars.
Oh, no, I generally like Houston because my buddy Case Keenum went to Houston and got me into. He's a huge Cougars everything fan.
Yeah, he was there for about 7 years.
So for some reason, I've always followed them. I don't know.
Coming up, we'll talk about the changes coming to college football. Speaking of change, and it looks like from all of our friends who cover the sport, this is happening, and it's happening this season. We'll get you up to speed on all the latest. Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff.
You're in. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Donut is the cinnamon and sugar covered ones.
Wow. I have to admit, you're picking a low seed.
Why?
I feel like if we could find a ranking of donut flavors, I imagine that's not top 5.
My favorite all time is like an apple fritter, but I didn't think that was traditional donut.
By the way, I think I know what an apple fritter is, but I'm not exactly sure what an apple fritter is.
Literally turned his chair away from me. Like, what am I doing?
Okay.
True story. I once took one out of the freezer because I wanted to eat one so badly, and I couldn't even wait until it got unfrozen. And I didn't do it while it was still frozen. I was like, I have a problem.
The excitement you had about that frozen apple fritter story
I thought
was
I was really glad to share something with you guys, some vulnerability about the time I went.
We don't even know what apple fritters are, man. They say, what's your favorite kind of donut? A Kit Kat bar.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
What up? So glad to have you on Maggie and Perloff. Been a fun show so far. I've gotten a gift already today. Jim Kelly signed football. You can see it over my right shoulder. Is now behind me thanks to our friend Sully for sending it in. And we've got franchise tags on the table now, which means Lamar Jackson, same. No, we got Lamar Jackson, who now is going to be front and center here. We've talked a lot about what we think the Ravens should do. Should they sign him to a long-term deal? Should they not, Perloff? But let's flip it on its head for a second. If you're Lamar Jackson and say you can get traded anywhere or demand a trade. We see it happen in the NBA all the time. We know Russell Wilson wanted a trade. He got traded out of Seattle. He got to go to Denver. I mean, it's becoming a little bit more in vogue. Not saying Lamar's doing this at all, but if he did want to trade, where do you think he should be looking?
Well, I don't think it compares to those at all because he's about to be a free agent. He hasn't gotten tagged yet. He's technically a free agent right now, I think. So he can either do two things. He can wait it out, play one more year in Baltimore, but he's got to get out of there.
Why?
They have no talent on offense around him at all. He should go to the NFC. He should go to the NFC South. He should tear up that conference. He should go to Atlanta. He's got Drake London, who's awesome, and he's got Kyle Pitts, who's even more awesome. He's got an offensive-minded head coach in Arthur Smith. I just think the NFC South would be his playground. There's nothing for him in the AFC North. I don't think the Ravens are even close to coming out of that conference right now. I don't even think they win a playoff game with Lamar Jackson this year, just because they're in such a brutal spot.
I know, but think about it. They were having a tough year last year. Lamar missed 5 games, and they still did make the playoffs.
I think they'll make the playoffs. I'm saying I don't think they'll win a playoff game. I don't think they're. I think maybe they win a wild card game. There's just too much going on there. He has a real opportunity in the NFC.
He does, but don't you worry a little about the Atlanta defense?
Yeah, they're terrible.
Yeah, right. So if you want to win, what playoff games are you winning with that Atlanta defense if it's still a sieve?
Having Lamar Jackson immediately, you're changing the time of possession to help your team. You're staying on the field longer. So I don't know. I'm hoping that Atlanta's been rebuilding 3 or 4 years. I'm hoping they did something to help the defense. Nothing's popping to mind right now, but I just think it's such an open opportunity, and he could probably make the playoffs his first year there.
Yeah, I think that whole NFC South is really going to be up for grabs now, right? Brady's gone. All 4 of the teams are kind of have big question marks. I think any of those you could slot yourself into and say, yeah, look, could Lamar help New Orleans? Sure. Atlanta, yes. Tampa, of course. Carolina, yes. Everyone looks good in the NFC South.
Yeah, for some reason I keep seeing Atlanta. First of all, they have the number 8 pick, and it's not entirely clear they want to draft a quarterback. You haven't heard a ton of scuttlebutt about that. Arthur Smith doesn't have that much more time. It's a dome. He wants to get closer to South Florida, and Atlanta is not South Florida, but it's pretty close. Well, it seems like a nice spot to be for a quarterback. You're indoors. I think I say the same thing for a lot of...
Just get Michael Vick comparisons even more than you already do.
I just feel I don't think history... Lamar Jackson probably doesn't care about that.
No.
I think Derek Carr would be nice there, too. I just think there's a lot going on there for a quarterback.
Well, if you're going to go just by the conference that they're in, right? And listen, I know Jacksonville was a really good story this year and the turnaround with Trevor Lawrence and with Doug Peterson. But, wouldn't you want to go to the AFC South? You could go to Indy. You're playing, Tennessee is on a downslide. Houston's obviously still in full rebuild mode. It's really just Jacksonville that you have to worry about.
I don't think Indianapolis is looking at a veteran quarterback right now.
Oh, I don't think so either. But
they're rebuilding.
We're doing pie in the sky here.
I think you want to get out of the AFC. I think you want to go. And there's no other team. Listen, New Orleans has some people, but they have such a salary cap problem.
Yeah.
There's no other team with 2 top 10 picks to throw to who are giant and pretty good. Wouldn't you want to throw to those 2 guys, Drake London and Kyle Pitts? They're awesome.
No, I get it. Our buddy Jay in Alabama called in earlier, said Miami. I think that's, if you're talking about, I know you said AFC, but and that's not ideal. But if you're talking about, from what's the most compelling place he could go, yeah, I'd like to see him in Miami. It'd be terrible for my Buffalo Bills. I don't want to see that twice a year. But him with Hill and Waddle, that would probably be the most intriguing place he could go.
But is Miami, do they have the draft capital to get him from Baltimore, where I know Atlanta does?
It would be tough.
And doesn't it feel like the past 3 years, every single big-name quarterback has been linked to the Dolphins and nobody has gone there?
Well, because Tua's kind of held them off until he started, until unfortunately he got the concussions this year. I just don't see how Miami can go into the season with just Tua. That doesn't make any sense. You can't feel good. How do you put your head on the pillow every night thinking, my quarterback takes 1 hit, he's going to be out for the season?
Yes, that's absolutely true. But I don't know if they could get. They don't have any first-round pick this year.
No,
I don't know if they're in the mix for Lamar Jackson because of that particular situation. You're going to have to give up a haul. And the other thing too is Baltimore's going to look at Miami and say Tyreek Hill, Lamar Jackson. That's never going to be a good draft pick. Why do I want that? Atlanta, at least there's a chance they'll stink.
I also like the idea of Detroit. I think that's kind of fun too. That's dome team. You're going into the NFC. Maybe Rodgers is out of the division. And that's some intriguing weapons and a team that's certainly on the upswing.
You don't think Lamar Jackson would rather get closer to home?
No. Listen, does anyone really want to get traded to the Lions? No offense to the Lions. They're a great story, but they're still synonymous with losing.
I think Atlanta is a very attractive city compared to Detroit. Just for a kid from Miami.
Yeah.
I think Atlanta, Miami, New Orleans, those teams, I think would be more, if Lamar had his choice, which is not the situation here. There's a trade involved. I think you and I disagree on the Lions a little bit. I think their offense is fine.
No, the offense is great.
Yeah,
but they are synonymous with losing, the Lions.
Right, but if you're going to give up a bunch of resources and help the defense, I don't think you need to go and get a great quarterback. I thought Goff was fine. They have a lot of hope there. They're 11th in Super Bowl odds next year, as is, with Jared Goff.
People love the team that had a little momentum at the end of last year and then totally take off.
Yeah, I mean, Aiden Hutchinson, if they get another defensive stud this year, I think that defense immediately takes off. They have the number 6 pick, funny enough, via the Matt Stafford trade.
Obviously, yes.
So let's say, I don't know, Will Anderson falls to them. I'm pie in the sky there. You have a Will Anderson, Hutchinson duo on defense. Jared Goff is what he is. I don't think he's
not the future.
Why not? He's gone to a Super Bowl.
I know, but
he was really good this year. He was really good this year. He threw how many?
They had an excellent offense this year, but I don't know. Am I putting all my eggs in the Jared Goff basket?
He just runs the offense around. He's more like a caretaker on a good offense. He had 29 touchdowns and 7 picks this year.
Right.
That's amazing.
No, I understand they were good, and they were good on offense, but you're asking me, do I want to hand Jared Goff like a lot more money? I don't know about that.
He's already getting, I don't know how much longer they have him. It's better than, do you want to give up 4 first-round picks for Lamar Jackson if you're Detroit?
I mean, I really like Lamar Jackson. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know if does it have to be 4? Do you think it could be 3? That's what Deshaun Watson was. That's what Russell Wilson was. Feels like 3 is kind of the going rate.
Yeah, maybe. 3 first-round picks if you're Detroit, including the number 6 this year. Wow, that's a lot.
I mean, to include a top 10 pick,
and then you clog up your salary cap.
But maybe that sort of, maybe that sort of changes the math a little bit. It's like, hey, I'm giving you also a top 10 pick, so it's only going to be 2 firsts and a second or something.
And I don't see that happening. Do you see Detroit being really in the mix for this?
No, we're talking about pie in the sky. We're talking about fun offenses that we'd like to watch.
I think the perfect team for Lamar Jackson is a team that is kind of empty, a blank slate that you can really build around Lamar, like Atlanta, kind of like New Orleans. I know New Orleans has some players there.
Oh, yeah.
But the team that doesn't have anything going. Detroit's got everything going. Why do a complete franchise turnover to get Lamar Jackson right now?
Well, I think you might not be factoring in there is a desperation aspect of this as well.
Detroit?
Yes.
Why?
Because they haven't been winners in so long.
Yeah.
I mean, you finally have a good thing going. Are you just going to go halfway, or are you going to really throw the haymaker and try to go get Lamar Jackson? I mean, you do a move like that, you are kind of announcing to the NFL, like, we are not messing around.
Yeah.
And it could be the perfect time if Rodgers does leave Green Bay, and now you're looking at who's your competition. Okay, the Vikings, who were, an empty record, as it turns out, this entire season. And then you have Justin Fields in Chicago. It's a full rebuild. And then we'll see what Jordan Love is in Green Bay. No one has any clue.
I feel like the Lions are kind of hot on the personnel side, though. Like, they've been making all the right decisions. Maybe I'm buying into the hype. Well, I don't know. I don't think the GM there wants to give away all his draft picks for. If you do Lamar Jackson, you're done. That's who your team is. You're probably not re-signing him on Ross St. Brown. You might not re-sign a lot of these guys. Like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like you have a 10-year window right here with this team. Ben Johnson, your OC, said, I want to stay here because I think this team can win at the highest level.
I know.
He wasn't talking about Lamar. He was talking about the team as is.
Well, maybe, of course I'm going to say that if I'm the offensive coordinator. And it doesn't mean, just because you do sign a quarterback, I know it doesn't make it so much easier to sign a great wide receiver, but it doesn't make it impossible. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Okay, so you're welcome to weigh in on where would you like to see Lamar go? Or would you like to see him stay in Baltimore? I don't know. I mean...
Oh, that's probably what's going to happen, too, by the way. All this stuff. That's
I don't know.
It's overwhelming. What'd you say if you had to put odds on it? It's overwhelmingly the favorite.
Well, the home team is always the favorite here. Not more than or less than anyone else. But the problem with this is there's the couple wild card things here that is different to factor in. Number one, you really don't know what he's thinking, right? You don't have agents who are leaking anything. We're not getting like a sense one way or the other. On one hand, you could say, yeah, his contract is going to tank the franchise. On the other hand, you say, but he is the offense, so he deserves all that money. I don't know. And the Ravens are known to be one of the best in terms of front offices, one of the most button-up operations in the entire NFL. So who knows what they're really thinking, and if they do want to trade him, I bet they're going to max this out. There's just so much there. So much there.
It is, but I think if you were going to make a bet, if I was going to handicap it, I wouldn't let you win any money by him going back to the Ravens, just because, they have him franchise tagged. Why would they? Maybe just do another year, then franchise tag him again. They have so much control and so much leverage.
I know, but franchise tagging him twice is bad business, as Bruce Arians would say.
Why?
Because you have an asset that you would lose for nothing when you could have, in theory, traded them. If you knew you weren't going to re-sign them, then you got to trade that person so you can get some kind of assets back. Like, that's what good franchises do. Washington did not do that with Kirk Cousins, a little different, but that's what good franchises do.
Will you do a pie to the face bet on me about Lamar Jackson? Come on.
Because I think he's going somewhere else. I'm saying pay him. You're the one who thinks that they shouldn't pay him.
I think that they got to really look at this, but I do think that there's so many reasons to think that Baltimore will just settle and pay him. Kind of like Aaron Rodgers is going to go back to Green Bay.
No, and I'm advocating for Baltimore to do that, so I don't want to take a pie in the face if he leaves.
Yeah.
You're the one who's saying he should be traded. You should take the pie in the face.
I think the Ravens need to and I'm not actually saying this.
Yeah.
I think the Ravens need to rebuild, and I think Lamar needs a new start. I think he needs a fresh start. This offense in Baltimore is so limited. And it's not Todd Monken's not going to save the day here. I do think he'll eventually go back there, but I don't think it's going to help either team. I think Baltimore is kind of stuck here, and Lamar would be so happy at another team. Can you picture him being in Atlanta or Miami? You'd be thrilled.
Well, yeah. I mean, everyone's thrilled to go to Miami.
Who wants to be on a defense first team with no wide receivers when you're a quarterback?
Yeah, they just gave $100 million to Roquan Smith, though. That doesn't signal rebuild.
I know, but listen, the rest of their lineup is really old. All their offense. Is there a single offensive player they need besides Lamar? Not really. Mark Andrews, who's 28. I don't know. I just don't see the Ravens with a bright future.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Okay. You are welcome to weigh in on Lamar Jackson. We're going to take your phone calls on that as well. People in the chat were wondering what I was eating in the break. Sushi. There you go. Someone said I have broccoli in my teeth, and I don't.
Did you get it from the drink tank?
The drink tank is the best thing ever. Where Perloff goes in commercial breaks. It's so good. Love you guys in the chat. YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio. That's where the fun is happening. Of course, across the country and all of our CBS Sports Radio affiliates. We are on Sirius XM. We are on the free Odyssey app. No excuse not to tune into the show. We're everywhere. More Maggie and Perloff, your calls on Lamar next, along with the non-quarterbacks who could be getting the franchise tag. This is also an interesting bunch. We'll get to that in just a moment. Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff after this.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. Minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Back on Maggie and Perloff. All right, Maggie, I was doing some research. The Detroit Lions had the fourth best offense in the NFL last year and the 32nd ranked defense.
Yeah, the defense turned it around, though, midway through the season.
Regardless.
Yeah.
Their defense is not great. That is not a situation where I look at globally and say we got to bring in a new quarterback.
No, that's not where Lamar Jackson should go.
And also, they have so many young guys, and their strength will be wide receiver with Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams. And I think there is a legit question about Lamar Jackson. Can he bring out the best in wide receivers? We don't really know. It's hard to. It's
like a chicken or the egg thing, right?
It's very hard to answer, but it's a risk for the Lions that they might slow down on offense if they bring in Lamar Jackson. That's not what you want.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Eric is in Portland, wants to talk about Lamar Jackson, possibly the Lions. What do you have?
First of all, I think the biggest mistake the Lions could make would be to acquire Jackson and get rid of Goff, because Goff was one of the top 5-6 quarterbacks last year. The kid has found his legs. He's been to a Super Bowl. He's seasoned. I think right now they hang on to Goff. His best days are ahead of him. And this guy, again, he's found his confidence. This guy had a phenomenal year last year.
Yeah.
This is, to me, Dan Campbell's MO would be to keep him, to create this team and keep this piece. But all this trade-itis that pro sports goes through, they constantly got to keep trading and seeking improvement when the answer often is right there in front of them. The NFL is still very popular, but they if they keep doing this stuff, they're going to go the way of the NBA, which sucks.
Wait, Eric, though, here's the thing. You said Jared Goff's one of the top 5 or 6 quarterbacks in the league. You can't obviously say that. You can't say that with a straight face.
Last year he was pretty elite. I mean, he was pretty
I'm talking
good.
about last year.
Okay,
I'm talking about last year. There was only 4 or 5 guys that had a better QBR. Only 4 or 5, 6 guys that had a better rating. This guy performed in every single major 29 TDs.
Okay.
7.
Yes, you want to go to the counting numbers, which we can go to the counting numbers. That's fine. But are you really going to sell me that Jared Goff is one of the best 5 or 6 quarterbacks in the league? When you have Mahomes and you've got Allen and you've got Burrow and you've got Herbert and you've got Trevor Lawrence and you have Lamar Jackson, you have Jalen Hurts. I just named 8.
No, he said who had the best year last year.
I think we got to clarify what I'm saying. I said last year.
Okay. But we're talking about
4 or 5 guys that had a better performance over the course of a year than he did.
Right.
So what I'm saying is that year is the year that Detroit Lion management, they need to go ahead and say, okay, he's going to build on this year. I guarantee you this kid is going to build on last year. His best days are ahead of him. To get rid of him right now would be to shoot themselves in the foot, spend that money, spend that capital on defense. I agree with Mr. Perloff on this, and that would be the smartest thing to do. I'm a Detroit, born and bred in Detroit, but then I moved to L.A. as a younger guy. I love the Rams, and believe me, I'm not a homer when it comes to Goff. He proved something to me last year.
Yeah.
I think he's found his confidence.
Okay.
And
well,
last
Eric,
year,
thank you so much.
4 or 5.
Yes, yes. Only 4 or 5.
Last year, only 4 or 5 quarterbacks had a better year than he did statistically in every major category.
There you go. Thank you, Eric. I would say, but last year, but the interceptions went down. They went down the year before, too. But he's actually had, like, better statistical seasons. He threw for more yards when he was with the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, he was good with the Rams till he wasn't. The one thing, Goff certainly, he's not Joe Burrow or Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, but he's cheap, and their offense was on fire last year, and they won 8 out of the last 10 games. You don't break up 8 out of the last 10, Maggie. You ride this thing, see where it goes. Everyone, including you, by the way, you were sitting 2 rows in on the Lions bandwagon. You were just as into them as the rest of them.
I'm into them.
You got to see where this goes.
Okay, I'm into them, but you do have a potential out right now for Jared Goff, right?
Right, which you would never take because he's so cheap.
Yeah, I mean, he's cheap. He's making $25 million, which I know is not,
That's, what is that, 25th, 26th in quarterback? That's nothing.
I don't know.
It's really low. For a non-rookie deal,
It's manageable, that's for sure. And you've got 2 years left of them, 23 and 24.
Yeah, I know. I think that's, first of all, will he ask for more? Will he want, if he has another Pro Bowl year, he's going to ask for more money.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of a problem. But you gotta ride this cheap quarterback thing. You can't break up the momentum here. It's such a good thing going. We were all
act like I'm breaking up the Beatles here. I mean, it was just
the Detroit Lions were 8-2 in their last 10 games.
Yeah, they had a 9-8 season. You're acting like I'm breaking up, a dynasty here.
This is the first time.
I'm asking you to upgrade a quarterback in a way that's like unreal.
You're trying to help the team. I totally understand. But this is the first time we've been excited about the Lions in an offseason in a long, long time. So I say ride with it.
We could be more excited. JJ is in California. What's up, JJ? How are you?
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing good. The top 4 highest paid quarterbacks in the league didn't even make it to I don't even think they had a winning season this year.
Yeah, I know. Russell Wilson, right? Rodgers.
I was just checking that out.
Yeah.
But, hey, on Lamar Jackson, they done figured him out. That's why they're not giving him no money, because everybody done figured him out. He takes way more. After, what was that, 19, right? He won MVP and all that.
Yep.
That's because they didn't have no plan for it, because nobody's seen him before. But here in the last 3 years, they done figured him out. He can't do anything no more. He gets sacked way more. I think he threw the last 2 years he's thrown 30 touchdowns and 20 picks. I mean, the guy's not. I mean, you talk about Jalen Hurts plays in the system. That guy plays in the system. You switch him to Atlanta and put Desmond Ridder on that team. Desmond Ridder probably be MVP. Then nobody's really seen him before, besides the couple games he played this past year. That's my whole point. Is just Lamar Jackson just ain't it, and there's no way I'd give up on Jared Goff and put Lamar Jackson on the Lions. Man, no way.
Well, you're just not a Lamar
Jackson.
fan. I mean, here's the thing, though. If Lamar doesn't miss 5 games last year and then this year, are we really saying that the league has figured him out? Because all of his statistics, if you just bared out, on the track that he was on, he'd have the same numbers, basically, as his MVP seasons. He was on the same track. So I don't think it's the league figured him out, JJ. Thank you for the call, as always. I think he just got hurt and missed significant time.
I think COVID year was a disaster for the whole Ravens.
Yeah,
team.
the Ravens, because they lost 3 running backs in training camp.
I see Lamar had a rough year that year. But I don't really count. Yeah, that whole year, exactly. Everybody was injured. His stats
Still rushed for over 1,000 yards.
Yeah, I think he had a lot of picks that year, didn't he?
Let's see. The 2020 year, he had Vamp.
Oh, 20. Okay, 2020.
In 2020, he had 26 touchdowns, 9 picks.
Didn't he have a bad year?
It was 2021, 16 touchdowns, 13 picks.
Oh, right. That's when all the running backs got hurt. Sorry, I got my...
2021.
The whole team, first of all, the whole team around him fell apart. Here's the thing. I think there's a legit... Not that the league's figured him out, but can he continue to rush at this rate as he gets older?
He's still only 26. It's not like we're talking about him, oh my gosh, he turns 30 in a couple weeks.
But he runs like a running back, his number of carries.
Okay, but that's also, I think, a chicken or the egg thing, because would he have to run as much if he actually had wide receivers that were better? Because you have Mark Andrews and you have a bunch of guys who have been on the cusp or themselves out with injury, or first-round guys who didn't pan out like we thought they were going to.
Yeah, but he ran a lot in college. He ran more than anybody in college, too. He likes to run.
Okay, but he does. But let's see what he looks like with a new offense. If he does stay in Baltimore without Greg Roman, maybe you're seeing something better. He's still going to run, Perloff.
What do you think? I know, that's my point. What do you think is Baltimore? Is Baltimore all of a sudden going to find these receivers next year? Their offense is going to be...
They need to find receivers.
Again, Todd Monken was not Sean McVay.
It's just not Greg Roman.
I know, and you're right. Maybe there'll be less design runs, but I'd be shocked if all of a sudden they're a high-volume passing attack.
Well, you're not going to swing wildly from one way to the other, because you still want to use his gifts, which is running the ball. But he also has a great arm.
He's got a strong arm. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure that team is built to really have a great passing attack, regardless of Lamar.
His completion percentage before this year would have dipped to 62%. It was 64, 64, 66. You know who has the same completion percentage numbers? Jared Goff. That's exactly where he is at the in terms of completion percentage. So,
first of all, that's a compliment to Jared Goff.
But you're going to tell me Goff is like the second coming of Joe Montana.
No,
you're saying Lamar's got the same in terms of passing. You want to go completion percentage, doesn't have the yards, but that's also because he doesn't have receivers.
Well, I mean, he doesn't. I'm looking at the yards, so he doesn't have any yards. How many?
But he also doesn't. I mean,
He's
at
never
least
had
Jared
yards.
Goff has like a capable receiving core.
Just the fact that you're comparing them to,
You guys are comparing him. I said Lamar's an upgrade over Goff.
He definitely is, but we're comparing him as like, do you want to give up the future of your franchise to upgrade a quarterback when you seem to be headed in a good trajectory? That's all I'm saying. Is things seem to be headed up in the Lions. Why are you going to? I assume you're going to need a record-setting deal for Lamar Jackson. So why do you want to be that team that gives away the house?
Right. But then you would say, why would any team do that? And even Atlanta,
because Atlanta's so empty. They have nothing to give up.
But they can also draft a quarterback. You start over on a rookie deal. You don't have to give any picks away. You don't have to pay $230 million. Like, with that logic, he should have no market whatsoever.
I think a team like Atlanta, an empty cupboard is the best spot for Lamar because he'll make everybody better immediately.
Yeah, but it's the same logic where you give him all that money, it's going to be harder to team build. Like, it's the same thing applies.
But you at least with Atlanta, you have the receivers. You have elite receivers who aren't costing you anything because they're on rookie deals. So you're surrounding
no defense.
Yeah, details.
Okay.
They must have drafted somebody on defense over these last years. Let's look at their defensive depth chart and figure this out.
Elvis is in Alabama. Wants to talk about Lamar. What's up, Elvis? How are you?
What's going on, guys? Hey, look, a couple quick points about Lamar specifically, and then one on the QB market in general. One, and I'll preface this by saying I've never been a Lamar guy. He's accomplished more than I ever thought he would. But the one point I would make is his best football is behind him. His MVP season, he's never going to be that guy again. He's not consistent enough as a passer. I don't think he's an upgrade over Jared Goff. And more, somebody mentioned it not long back there. It's all about the money. I believe the new model going forward is going to be more like the Lions are doing right now. These teams that are going to pay their quarterbacks $50 million a year, you cannot put enough talent around guys to win.
Yeah.
Paying your quarterback $50 million. I mean,
it's hard.
Mahomes is the first guy who's ever been higher than 13% of his team's cap to win. It was 28 in a row had lost.
Mm-hmm.
So I just and he's a once in a lifetime quarterback. I think the model going forward is to try to find a good quarterback and pay him $20, $25 million. Save yourself a lot of money and put good players around him. I'm out.
There you go. Elvis weighing in.
I don't know if you can do that because Daniel Jones is going to cost upwards of 30, possibly. It seems like the reports are going that way. So can you really? Goff's an exception because Goff's contract was, 4 years ago?
Yep.
He re-signed that deal with the Rams, and they gave up on him. I don't think you get a good, quote-unquote, good quarterback for $25 million.
What do you think Geno's going to get? Who, by the way, might get tagged. It's possible. But, Geno Smith had a very good year.
Yeah.
I would say Geno Smith's a good quarterback.
Yeah, but that team fell off so badly towards the second half. I mean, they
I'm just trying to give you a for instance, though, of somebody who's not going to make 30, probably not going to make $30 million.
I don't think you can build a long-term winner around Geno Smith.
Or maybe Geno makes $30 million. I don't know.
He's 32, too.
Yeah.
Geno's been around for 10 years. Goff's 28.
But to Elvis's point, he just wants to keep a middle class of quarterback.
Yeah,
and I don't know where the middle class is.
No, there is no $25 million. And even Geno probably will be more than that.
I think Geno's going to make
right.
I'm like $30 million for Geno. I'm like, he might get more. I don't know. By the way, Mahomes' cap hit next year, $46.7 million. We talk like Mahomes is playing for $1 million or something.
Wait, how much did you say?
46.7.
You could survive that. Yeah, I mean, also, too, you have to have great coaching. There's a lot of things you need going. Wait, we should get into Geno in this free agency period. I can't get excited about him if I'm the Seahawks.
I think you're pleasantly surprised, and then you hope that Geno will play ball on a shorter-term deal.
They were pretty bad the second half of the season.
Well, they lost their run game and everything. Their defense was terrible, too.
They lost their. What do you mean they lost their run game?
Wasn't Walker hurt for a little bit and then came back at the end?
Yeah, I think that's when Walker came on at the end, and they started losing a lot. I don't know.
Well, the defense was bad.
Yeah, I don't know. Did Geno blow you away? That game that they got in the playoffs where they had to go into overtime against the Rams, it wasn't good. I don't know. I don't even remember how they did in the playoffs. I know they lost, but okay, they lost 41-23 to the Niners. What's the upside? Where is that franchise?
They were leading at half, remember?
Where's that franchise going?
Well, they have all the draft picks from Denver. So they're probably hoping that Geno is like a high-end, very high-end, 2 to 3 year bridge quarterback for them.
Wow.
I don't know. It's not the worst idea. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. You're trying to navigate after losing, a franchise quarterback for so long. Geno did a great job of keeping that whole thing afloat, and Pete Carroll. They made the playoffs the year after they traded Russell Wilson away. That's an accomplishment, I think, for the Seahawks.
Yeah, but I would still put them between 17 to 25 in Super Bowl odds.
Probably, but it's in the NFC, so they can make the playoffs. 855-212-4CBS. Okay, coming up, we do have the non-quarterbacks who could get franchise tagged. And how is that going to, upset the landscape, if you will, play into the landscape? We'll get to that right after this CBS Sports Update with Rich Ackerman.
Sports Flash.
Well, before the second half of the season starts, the Atlanta Hawks have made a change, reportedly firing Nate McMillan. Assistant Joe Prunty is expected to take over in the interim, as the team will have no shortage of candidates to choose from, including former assistant and current Warriors assistant Kenny Atkinson, as well as former Jazz head coach Quinn Snyder. The Hawks went to the Eastern Conference Finals just 2 years ago, but now not guaranteed of making the playoffs. Jacques Vaughn gets a multi-year extension today from the Nets. He has navigated a lot through his first season as head coach. He was named November 1st, had the interim tag lifted November 8th, and then came the trades of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, who had been suspended earlier in the year. And through it all, Vaughn is 32-29 as head coach. The Bulls won't have Lonzo Ball at all this year. He won't suit up as the veteran guard continues to have pain from a pair of knee surgeries from before the season. Villanova has struggled in its first year under Kyle Neptune. They're a game under 500 and on the road tonight at Xavier, getting underway in less than an hour. I'm Rich Ackerman.
This is Zach Gelb. Hot topics, great guests, and you on the phone to talk sports. Weekdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific on CBS Sports Radio.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie Perloff. Man, got a lot to do. All right, let's get to it. Here's our Casamigos shot of the day.
He shoots!
The shot of the day is brought to you by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos is brought to you by those who drink it. Well, today's snapshot of the day, you might need a shot after hearing this. We got into a conversation about what your algorithm sends to you on social media. I got into an algorithm of stripper TikTok. I don't know how that happened.
Well, that I would expect out of the other side of the glass, not you. How did your feed get that?
I have no idea. I'm doing baking shows and fridges and get ready with me to go to a party, and all of a sudden I got stripper TikTok. I don't know.
I don't have any of that.
I fell into the toe jam, like toe cutting videos somehow. Pimple popping, like those kind of weird things.
Once you get into the pimple popping, it's really hard to get out of it. I basically had to delete the app and then start from scratch with a whole new username. It was like leaving an old life. I had to like pick up and move. Facts. It's so hard to change your algorithm. You know, this is why it's good that we keep talking about Casamigos, because we know that our phones are listening to us. So maybe now we get a little more Casamigos into our algorithm. And now we get a little more cocktail suggestions, a little more party atmosphere.
It sounds like a low bar to jump over to get a better algorithm for what's going on here. So yeah, you're right. I'm definitely going to Google Casamigos drinks after that because that was not good.
No, it wasn't. Although I did like how everyone perked up when I said got to the stripper TikTok and stripper Instagram. You're like, really? How did that happen? Like someone took out a pen and started taking notes. I still don't know. Guys, I have no idea.
I'm fascinated. You must have, have you ever Googled stripper or something?
No. What would I be doing? Why would I care about that?
I don't know. Maybe you were. Aren't there some exercise classes that use poles? Isn't there a new trend about stripper dancing, striptease exercise?
That's been around for a while.
Okay.
And I've never tried it. It had a moment in New York City where people were doing this a lot, where it's like pole dancing as cardio. But the thing is that I would watch, I did watch some of those videos. Maybe that's what it is. I wasn't watching those videos, but a friend of mine started doing it, and she kept posting it on Instagram, and I would just shake my head and like watching my friend dance provocatively. Oh.
Maggie blaming her friend.
And I was laughing at her, and I shouldn't have been. So it's really my fault.
Joke's on you.
Now the joke's on me, which is going to be on my tombstone.
Listen, have I ever done, I don't know, some sort of provocative dance to get my wife in the mood? Yes.
Really? True Lie style?
Oh, are you kidding me?
Perloff as Jamie Lee Curtis?
Oh, yeah, but what's a scene? The man wasn't dancing for Jamie Lee Curtis.
No, she was. What are you, Magic Mike? Was that what you wanted me to go?
It was closer to Magic Mike. Yeah, it was nothing like Jamie Lee Curtis in True Lies. Trust me, it's
it's the first thing I went to. I'm sorry.
Less easy on the eyes in that scene.
It was Channing Tatum.
Yeah, honestly, I've seen every Magic Mike movie, and the third one is coming out, and it's been very inspiring.
To do one of these dances for Sarah.
Oh yeah. I'm not afraid to put it on a Speedo and a cowboy hat. You've seen me do it before.
I've only seen you in a cowboy hat when you were pouring barbecue sauce all over yourself, which might be in Magic Mike 3. I have no idea.
Yeah, it could be.
Imagine how embarrassed you would be if you happened to be watching Magic Mike and someone else walked into the room. You'd have to be like fumbling for the remote
have you
to change.
Seen Magic Mike?
I have on cable.
Yeah, those aren't embarrassing. Those are Stephen Sondheim movies. Those are rather high end. Not Stephen Sondheim, Steven Soderbergh.
Yeah, Stephen Sondheim.
Steven Soderbergh.
Like Broadway shows.
Oh, so what? I confused Steven Soderbergh and Stephen Sondheim. That's not like I was out of it.
No, but maybe they should do that for Magic Mike 4. It's like it's actually a Broadway show.
It's a musical.
No, it's just like that's something where I might feel embarrassed if I was watching it and then all of a sudden my husband walked in. I'd be like, what are you watching? Like, Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
Dancing around.
Yeah, it's a completely different dynamic when I'm watching Magic Mike and my wife walks in.
Yeah, she's probably wondering, what are you doing? What?
Yeah, there are a lot of things that actually, not adult things that I turn away from. There's certain shows I watch that my wife does not like.
Yeah,
so
right.
I immediately turn it off.
Right. There's certain things that you, even if you're married, like you just don't watch with your significant other, right?
No. If I'm watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and my wife comes in, I immediately turn it off.
You don't want her to know you're watching this comedy?
I don't want her to know because there is guaranteed to be the most immature joke of all time right in front of her, and she's going to judge me for watching the show. That must happen to you, too. Is there a stupid show? Maybe it's Real Housewives or something. There's always something.
Yes. If when I did watch Housewives, this was pre-kids, and now I don't have time to do it, but if like my husband came home and I was watching Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, I would immediately turn it off. It's like, I don't want you here with my guilty pleasure.
Right.
Like, this is my thing. But I don't want you to think less of me that I'm watching this, all of that.
Did you even turn the channel and pretend you were watching something else?
Yes, right to CNN.
CNN, right.
No, I don't know like what everyone's turned the channel to.
Yeah, I think that's very common to be embarrassed about your TV watching habits.
Yeah.
Magic Mike, that was fine.
Do you guys ever change the channel? Wives or girlfriends walk in? No, you're an open book?
Well, so my wife and I watch the same stupid show together.
Yeah.
So, like, all the embarrassing things that I would watch, she watches with me, so no.
Yeah, you realize that 90-Day Fiancé is going to go down to 60-Day Fiancé, is going to go down to 30-Day Fiancé. You're just going to watch two people meet randomly on the street and get married is the end of the show.
Or, like, Love is Blind,
Yes.
that one.
That's a Samter household special.
Yeah. What's these shows on Netflix? Boy Island and things like that? I don't even know.
I think they're British.
They're British, and
Yeah.
they're really disturbing.
That, if my husband came in, I would definitely turn the channel. I'm not.
Those are, I don't even like the little teasers on Netflix. I feel skeezy just watching them.
Yeah, it's designed like that. It's supposed to make you feel skeezy. Anyway, 855-212-4CBS. What, and beyond, like, if I ask you, tell us what's the thing that you would turn the channel if your significant other walked
Yeah, that
in.
could
Don't
get-
give
that
us
could
the
get ugly.
obvious one, fellas. We get it. You don't need to, we know. Debbie Does Dallas. Got it. Don't need to go into that.
Debbie Does Dallas. Bringing back an oldie but goodie.
I mean, is that the number one thing everyone goes to?
Debbie
Well, not like downloads. I'm saying, like, if you're
Yeah.
if you need to come up with a porno
We get
name.
your gist. Yeah.
All right. Well,
We've evolved since then. We've evolved since Debbie.
it'd be hilarious if you didn't. Guys are still watching the same
This is not a,
thing.
this is not a topic.
We have to reboot it. Let's do it.
Yeah,
Can you
I'm
imagine
surprised, actually,
if
they
you're a
haven't.
19-year-old male in today's society and you find out 40 years ago men had to go to theaters to watch adult films?
It must be like when you
Dinosaur
find out,
age.
or just like a payphone.
And hide
Wait,
books in a drawer under your bed or something, or in between your mattresses.
Yeah.
Like hide little magazines.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
magazine. What is that?
yeah, right.
Paper.
Does it talk? Does it move? No, it just stands there.
Does it talk? Does it move? It just stands
Yeah,
there.
it's just a photo. I feel like, anyway. I feel like when I was on a high school trip to Europe, like went to Spain in high school, and I still feel like it was in the time when guys were like, whoa, like naked women in paintings.
What?
Maybe not.
Wait.
It was like 1999.
Yeah.
The internet was
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like 1999, you could find something a little better than Monet. Wow.
Some 16th century
And
something.
it's a Picasso where an elbow's over here, a boob's over there. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh, man. I saw this story that I thought was funny.
Oh, good luck with this
It
transition.
has nothing to do with this. But it was that, the BBC?
Sure.
You're familiar with it?
I know of it.
You know of it. So they're now asking the people who are on camera, they call them presenters over there, like news people. They're telling them to relax their formal dress code because apparently they did a study and people who look more authentic, like, are more believable. So they told the staff last week they want a rugged, quote, sweaty and dirty look for the journalists out in the field to adopt. And people think that it's more trustworthy if you look like disheveled, I guess.
Yeah, I like that.
Does you think that rings true?
It kind of reminds me of the weather guys in extreme weather.
Yeah, I guess.
How they get in the mix and they're wearing their gear. Yeah, that's
These
cool.
Sleeves rolled up.
Yeah, no, so you gotta look like if you're. Yeah, it makes sense. If you're in a war zone, for example, and you're wearing a pristine suit, it kind of looks odd.
Yeah, people think you're like in a green screen. No, you got to dress for the occasion. But like if you're just out there doing a story, a human interest story about, I don't know, Valentine's Day, you can't be looking like a slob. That would be stupid too.
I think they want appropriate to the story. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
What do you wear for Valentine's Day? Do you have to, the presenter has to come on with a stuffed animal and a box of chocolates?
They told the employees, be as sweaty and dirty as when we're in the field is being actually more trustworthy than if we look like we just stepped out of an award ceremony or a fine dinner party.
So you've done some field reporting, right? You've
Yeah,
been
imagine if we were like down at the Super Bowl or something and all of a sudden we look like we just were in a tornado. Like we just played the game.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. So who would get on the stationary bike for 20 minutes, get out there?
Whew, I tell you, that game, it's like, what were you doing? I was like sitting in a seat watching it.
Are you a fan of the extreme weather reports? We all are, right? What's the guy's name? Weather Channel? Jim. Help us out here.
Yeah.
Cantori,
yeah.
Yeah, that's the best. I think he should have taught everybody, hey, go all in, act the part.
What I think is the funniest part of those stories, not the super extreme weather, but when people are out there, the meteorologists are like, hey, it's a really bad storm. Everyone stay inside. And then someone like roller skates by, like wearing a dog thing on their head, like a mask or something.
Yeah, I love when people mess with the extreme weather reports.
Someone just like bikes by in like a thong. Yeah. That happened all the time.
Wait, what sports topic were we supposed to hit that segment?
We were supposed to talk about Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs being franchise tagged.
And instead, we covered Real Housewives and how to turn the channel immediately when your husband walks in.
Yes. What were you watching? Nothing. Nothing at all. I was watching the news.
So 10 seconds. Do they tag Saquon Barkley? Go Maggie Gray.
Yes.
There you go.
Josh Jacobs, I think, even more. We'll get to that tomorrow.
Great.
We got a whole show tomorrow to do, too. We hope you'll join us there. Thank you to Mike Samter, to Stu Kovacs, to Kevin Millar, who joined us, Sully, our pal, who bought me a Jim Kelly signed football that will now proudly be displayed in our studio. Thank you to the Weedos and the Purple Drinkers in the chat, to the callers as well. We'll see you tomorrow, y'all.